Just a minute, everything.
Wow, catch it myself. You can't do nothing good and then. Well, we do it as far as we can go. It's done by
Yeah, what's the way? Oh, God.
I don't know you listen to them thing, man.
What about checking it back? You hear the code.
Okay.
You school, yeah?
Yeah, that's good. Oh, I think Facebook, the partially
Oh, yeah, all the time. You get now.
oh, so it's not
Every week.
it's an issue though, what it's saying.
Oh, I can do every week for that.
If you want, I'm on the camera. If you want like the angle of
Leader for the nation of Israel, the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are urging our brothers and sisters to tune in to Black Watch. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe to the Black Watch YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. That little bell will give you a notification every time a new video is out. Commanding General Yahanna is putting out videos every week as he updates the nation of Israel on the happenings in our nation. Updates on the coronavirus, crimes going on in our communities, and everything that we need to know. The things our so-called religious leaders and leaders in the black community don't want to talk about. Commanding General Yahanna, Black Watch. If you miss it, don't blame us, blame yourself. Shalom, Latinos and Native Americans. Commanding General Yahanna, the true leader for the nation of Israel, the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are urging our brothers and sisters to tune in to Black Watch. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe to the Black Watch YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. That little bell will give you a notification every time a new video is out. Commanding General Yahanna is putting out videos every week as he updates the nation of Israel on the happenings in our nation. Updates on the coronavirus, crimes going on in our communities, and everything that we need to know. The things our so-called religious leaders and leaders in the black community don't want to talk about. Commanding General Yahanna, Black Watch. If you miss it, don't blame us, blame yourself. Shalom to the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Commanding General Yahanna, the true leader for the nation of Israel, the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are urging our brothers and sisters to tune in to Black Watch. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe to the Black Watch YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. That little bell will give you a notification every time a new video is out. Commanding General Yahanna is putting out videos every week as he updates the nation of Israel on the happenings in our nation. Updates on the coronavirus, crimes going on in our communities, and everything that we need to know. The things our so-called religious leaders and leaders in the black community don't want to talk about. Commanding General Yahanna, Black Watch. If you miss it, don't blame us, blame yourself.
Shalom, Nakapai, Shalom, Yanakwa, Kazak, Shamgar, Amanga Bar. Starting in a second, right? Bear with us. Waiting for the captain to come in. One day, one at the back. One day as well. Keep it hot, innit? Be a minute, right?
said the internet giving some issues. Yes, sir.
What we look like? What we look like? You have some shop.
That was man, we're on the end. So like other one.
Well,
are we live now? Slam sir, we're on the ends. You know what I mean? How's it going, man? How's it going in DC?
We in Rome. We in Rome. Babylon in the head of Rome. Yeah, I mean.
Keeping your head up, keeping your head above water. You know what I mean? The devil is trying to keep us suppressed, but I see my shot, my young, still keeping it. You know what I mean? Doing his thing. You know, we're bringing the fire out, man. And
you don't know. You don't know. We can't do nothing else.
You know, from DC to UK, back on the ends. You know what I mean? Shalom. I got a special guest today, Ras Nito. You know what I mean? From the Birmingham area. You know what I mean? Shalom, you know, big in Brahman. So we're going to introduce him in a second. But right now, we're just on the end of Mashak. And, you know, like every show, we got to see Mashak. Captain Mashak is qualified to be on the ends, man.
Man, listen, man. My passport has stamps, man. What are you talking about? What are you chatting about?
I'll make sure, man. So the first question now, you know what I mean? We know you're from, you know, Trinidad and then, you know, in America, but introduce you, you know, Britain culture, a bit, you know, British slang on the ends, you know what I mean? What does it mean to be gutted?
To be what?
To be gutted.
To be gutted.
I'm gutted, man.
Like a disappointment, a proper disappointment.
Okay, yeah.
A proper disappointment.
Yeah. Gutted.
Yeah, man.
Devastated, you know, upset or disappointed. That's one.
Yeah.
Some folks in the building, got the sisters coming through. Officer Dunga bars in the building. You know what I mean? We see soldiers running through.
I see you, the factory running through there. I see you making them, she bringing them. Yeah, I mean, you can't help yourself. What you gonna say? You can't help yourself. Don't apologize. Don't apologize. That's what we do. We make children out. Yeah, I mean, so something the sodomite them can't do. Yeah, I mean, the sodomite and them. The sodomite and them can't do that. They can't make no children. We're gonna make all the children in the world, man. Yeah, I don't apologize for nothing.
the black people got men in jail. We got what many are sodomites, many getting killed from black on black crime. So who's gonna make the children, man?
Yeah,
That's what I come in.
it's a responsibility. It's a responsibility few men can handle.
I was made to take up this duty, man.
He was well equipped. He was well equipped to take up this duty. Yeah. I mean.
So someone gotta do it. So I thought I'd do it. So next one is what does it mean? I'm gonna put it up. What does it mean to be dodgy? If you go, you know what? That man's dodgy, you know.
Two words. Boris Johnson.
God, oh God. In the streets, what do you mean? Go, this man's kind of dodgy, you know.
Boris Johnson is dodgy. Boris Johnson head top is dodgy. Boris Johnson hair is dodgy. Boris Johnson's voice is dodgy. Boris Johnson's children is dodgy. And he just had a son?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, that's a dodgy child right there. That's a dodgy.
And the last one said, what does it mean to kip?
Kip. Judgment. Yeah, break that one down for me.
You know what? I'm about to go get a kip, you know. Oh, you know what? Go kip. And then, you know what? Go kip and get back to me.
Was that a store or something?
No. Wait. Oh, you know what? You fight me, I ain't playing. I'll make sure you get a kip. Or I don't care how big you are. These fists will make you kip.
Or pass out, knock out, nap.
Sleep, tired.
You take a kip. All right, I'll take that one. I ain't never heard that one before though.
Yeah, or I'm gonna have a kip and I'll wake up later on. I try saying it without giving you. So you know, 2 out of 1 to up, you know, you're almost there. We'll let you on the ends.
Listen, like I say, you can't let me pun the ends. I am the ends, my youth. The ends is me, I am it. How bounty to say I are the one?
I are the one.
I are the one. I are the ends. Yeah, man.
So like I said to me, can I introduce my guest today? We only got Ras Nito from Birmingham.
For sure. You know bro. What's going on? Do we say it's Ras Nito?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Good to have you on, brother. Good to have you on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you could, brother, just, introduce yourself,
This is a Ras Nito.
Bit of your background.
Music man. Come from many parts, Grew many parts. Born in England, grew in Jamaica, come back to England. Doing the music, And the brother them just asked me now for some info upon the early days of black people in England. From 50s, 60s, I can even go beyond the 50s, even 40s. So we're going to start a little thing where we just enlighten the people about what it was like in them days to nowadays.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that definitely what we wanna get. You know what I mean? Karafi, anyway, we could bring the camera in closer. It kind of far. Yeah, that's the camera, and you could drop it down a little bit. It high up as you bring it in closer. Drop it down so you could see all that merchandise on the table. I know somebody in the stream on the YouTube was asking how they could get the soap. Adolphus last how you could get the soap. There's the brother gonna post the website in there. You could order it straight from taharmindandbody.com. You could order it. They ship international. I got soaps too. You understand? I got soaps and all that good stuff they make over there. You wanna lower it down too, don't angle it down, but like drop it, like actually drop it, vertically down. You know what I mean? Drop it down, some. You know what I mean?
Anyone know me? I'm like myself. This is a veteranist. Doing 90%, 100%.
Well, so what we could do with 90%? You can't do nothing with 90%. You could be 99 all day. You'll never be 100, nigga. What are you talking about? We don't do 99s. 99s is for losers. 100 all the way. You know what I mean?
And even General Bahayman told me something. Said the UPK we never just do something. We always must be on fire. That was the exact same words you said. We always on fire. We don't aim to be. We always do shit properly, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. That is spirit of the Lord. That the people we come from too. You know what I mean? The type of people we come from. our people, our forefathers who come from slavery. You know what I mean? Come from the plantations. Come from hardship. You know what I mean? Even though we came through them channels, we who come from them, we bring a certain spirit to this world. Like without us, this world would be dead. It would be nothing. The music would be nothing. The clothing would be nothing. The way we talk, slang, it would be nothing. Like imagine P.S. Morgan and them would use our slang on national TV. You get the point? Like you could watch a national program, a news program, or editorial commentary program, and they use our slang. You know what I mean? They would use our terminology because we make everything good. You understand?
It makes sense. Even things like McDonald's, you know what I mean? The slogan for McDonald's is "I'm loving it," not loving. They take the G off it.
Yeah.
They take something and they make it a jingle and sell millions, man. You know what I mean? It's always been.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes straight into the topic where we're going in today, because even with Rasnito, we definitely asked him to come on. So, it would be information that we all have because being from the tribe of Benjamin, we grew up with the Rastafarian culture. We grew up knowing everybody who from Benjamin, which would be one of the 12 tribes of Israel, which would be the brothers and sisters in the Caribbean islands, mainly in the Caribbean islands, excepting for Puerto Rico and Cuba, but everybody and Haiti and Dominican Republic, but all the other islands are from the tribe of Benjamin. And everybody has a family member or knows somebody who had dreadlocks or had dreadlocks themselves. And the younger generation may not understand they wouldn't understand what it represents. Like, we're not talking about the Rastafarian doctrine now. We're not talking about the philosophy. But the dreadlocks represented something at the time. It was a movement. It was a statement. It was an actual statement. And at one time, dreadlocks was not as commercially accepted as it is now. Like right now, dreadlocks is something that's, it's on the fashion runways. You have, ministers in parliament with dreadlocks. You have, it's accepted now. By one time, it damn near was a crime. You know what I mean? So to add authenticity and credibility to what we want to bring out, we asked Rasnito to come on from a brother who, would have it. You know what I mean? And knows about it, and would be able to, verify the stuff we're bringing out. So, I want to pass it over to Rasnito for sure. You know what I mean? You could tell us the era you started growing your hearing.
When you talk about the locks, naturally to all black people, it's a natural thing anyway. It's like the way Rasta move and live is like we're reminding our people that this is you. You know what I'm saying? This is you. This is nothing you buy, put on your head. This is you. It grew from you. It's part of you. It's a natural part of it. So all that is just a natural thing. Most people still kind of have a hatred for it because it looks so wild. It don't grow to no style and pattern. It grow how it want to grow. As much as you say it's popular today, it's still unpopular in the form of most black women and black men feel them have to trim and neaten up themselves to be acceptable in the society where them live. Where that is not true, because them can't stop you from if you have your hair on your head. But a lot of people live according to the society where them follow into and buy into that. To be a true black self is a problem. And that's why you find so much of our sisters straighten the hair and not plait, afro, or locks. It's like a problem to most people. But the problem is an illusion, So for me, it's just a natural thing. Being a black man, being yourself as you is. Natural.
I get it. I understand exactly where you're coming from. Where if I could, from what you're saying, it at the time, the inception of dreadlocks, it would be maybe 70s, maybe 60s, 70s, somewhere around there, where it started to form and gain popularity. You would agree with that?
What it is, in the UK, England, it was about roughly say the mid 70s. It started when early pioneers came from Jamaica, come to England to live.
Right.
Most guys, they feel that they had to travel by comb in them years, so them cut it off. So when them cut it off now, them cut it off with their intention to say as soon as them land and settle, it's gonna grow back.
Right.
So when they grow back now, a lot of people start to wonder, what the hell is this? What's this all about? And then the concept kind of move and spread through England that way. Whereas differently from America, I don't really know how it go, apart from saying Jamaicans travel to America and set up themselves in little communities and it grow that way also. But for England, it's the same thing where each town, you have people that live in London who would have that influence, Birmingham again, and it just spread all throughout the UK amongst the black community in terms of rebelliousness and clinging to your roots and your culture, being yourself.
Yeah.
Before that, it was the Afro. Afro was the main thing, where instead of cutting your hair low, you let it grow massive and round, natural again. And even in the schools here, that was a problem. That's long before locks ever even show up on the scene. Afro was a big problem. And to kind of weaken the image, you'd get Europeans trying to perm them here to make it look like Afro. And then the sting of Afro seems to go. So everybody's changed from Afro to plaits.
Right.
Everybody starts to plait them here.
Right.
And plait it in such unique style that they've never seen those kind of plaits in the UK. So people was doing all that in the 70s.
Right.
Before the 70s now.
If I could interject right there. If I could interject right there. Like what he's saying, like we create so much lanes for ourselves in self-expression that the other nations, it amazes them. You understand? Like you hear how you say the Afro. Each man's Afro is different. Even that, even though you just pick your hair out, each brother Afro grow different. Just like each brother beard grow different. Some brothers have the full chin strap, some brothers have the shit that come right here. You know what I mean? Some brothers don't grow. Then the Afro is different, and the braids is different. Like our Officer Craft, his braids is different. The braids I would be different. You know what I mean? And the other nations look at us like, peculiar look where it's down there. It's 50% jealousy and 50% admiration.
Hatred.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like they want to be it, they can't be it, so they hate it. And boy, it's okay. They deal with us in such a way where they now make us hate that part of our life. And we cut it off physically, but really we cutting off our spirit. You understand? Because really it's a spiritual thing. This is, how you braid your hair or how you rock your hair is your self-expression. And when you tell me cut that off or don't wear clothes a certain way, you cutting off my spirit, which is what? Is how, how Babylon would control us, how our oppressor would control us. You know what I mean? So, this topic is not just about hair. It's about people.
Everything.
It's about the people who was trying to survive and live and, forge the identity for themselves under oppression. You know what I mean? So it's good that you brought that part out about, the braids and the different styles.
The thing is, as I say, the Afro and the plaits was the main staple. And in those days, today, you have a problem in the UK where a lot of our people seem to buy hair products and stuff, which have nothing to do with the community. The finance go out of the community. And just for the fact to make your hair stylish. When our parents came here in the 50s and 60s, and in most people's cases, the grandparents from the Caribbean, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, nobody in that community bought things for them here. They did it themselves. If they wanted oils and creams, they made it themselves. It's only today we find a lot of people seem to feel that they have to go outside of the community in order to beautify themselves, which is a madness. We need to go back to the fact where everything is in house. I mean,
Shame,
we
hold
never
on.
had.
Let me fit in right there. Let me fit in right there. Shameless plug. Taha, mind and body. And since we're going in-house, come on, Karate, I can lift up something. Taha, mind and body. Give me something we could present. Come on, quickly. Where is it?
It's the heart, mind, and body.bigcartel.com.
Hold on, but we ain't have nothing in-house there. We ain't have no hair products on the table right there.
All right. We have no hair products.
We had the soap.
We got soap though. This is the frankincense and myrrh soap, man. This is natural, no products, not made for no East Indian man, not made by no Pakistani man, made by a black woman herself who knows about black skin. Come and support this, man. The link is right there, the website's right there. Come and support black people, man. It's not good.
Right, exactly. And she also makes hair products as well. She makes them herself, you know, her and her team. She have a good team there with her. And you know, that like what the brother talking about, you know, even that, like even from the hair movement, they stole our economy, they stole our economics. You know what I mean? From the hair movement. And it's like, okay, even the hair movement, if I could backtrack a little bit, brother, before we even move forward with it.
I would see me, no problem. Do your thing.
That will work if you could backtrack a little bit. Okay, I remember growing up and our hair was always it took on it first was our expression personally, but then it became something to symbolize rebellion, but not rebellion in terms of we would just want to be lawless, but rebellion against a system or the oppressor. You know, back then we would just call it Babylon, but today, myself, you know, everybody have a different way of, you know, identifying it. But in the Israelite school of UPK, we have one phrase, which is the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. And because of that, we understand that he cuts us off at every angle. And now, because of what I understand today, I could go back in the history and see where certain things we did was part of the movement of breaking away from that stronghold they had, or that culturing they have, or that way of life they try to force on us. You know what I mean? I think the afro, the dreads, the braids, you know, we're not discussing the you know, religious aspect of it now, but just what it represented, what it represented for our people at that time, and the struggle and the rejection that came with it. You know what I mean?
If I may, sir.
Yeah, go check the mic out. I ain't hearing you too well.
Sorry, sir. I'm coming in better, sir.
Yeah, come on. Okay,
so this is a question for Rasanito. So we're talking about the rebellion against, you know, the white man, his society, the Christianity, and the hairstyle came out in the 70s. You know, and a lot of our, well, in my case, grandparents, you know, there was Christian, prim and proper suit wearing, and from what I've heard was that this hairstyle shocked the nation to the point that, you know, fathers will hate their sons for it. People will, you know, scorn you and look at you a type of way. Everyone looked at you like you was unclean. And from what I heard from my parents, people say, "Excuse me, are you a Rasta?" And say, "Yeah." Could you come out of my house, please? Could you tell us a bit about that? You know, in your experience or what you even saw.
Well, in them days, 70s, UK, as we say, over here in the UK, it started about the movement about with people who didn't even have locks. But when the locks started to show, parents never like it. Because in their mind, people with locks like that, or hair like that, will never amount to anything because they remember it from before they left the Caribbean. Right. They remember it in Jamaica. In those days, Rasta never even mixed with normal, call it so-called normal black people who comb their hair. They would live in the hills because they've been persecuted. So they live in the hills amongst themselves in a community. Because if nobody wanted, then you have to make a space for yourself. So they remember people like that being in the hills. And they were in the valley, in the city, in the towns, trying to make a living in the system. Now, when that generation moved to the UK, they left all that behind in the Caribbean, in Jamaica. So when they left all that behind, to see their son or daughter growing up in England, wanting to choose that kind of lifestyle, it was a thing that they said, it's as if you want to be a tramp to them, their eyes. That was a no good person. And the philosophy and everything else is a no good person because they are leaving behind. They thought they were leaving behind a way of life amongst a certain people that was going to go nowhere and nobody respected or liked them. So to see your parents in them days looking at a child who's going to live like that, it was a no-no in the many families. Some families get violent, throw the sons and daughters, they just evict them, have nothing to do with them. And then that start a rebellion now amongst families, which really shouldn't have been a rebellion amongst families, but it became that way until most people try to get on with the system, because you have to imagine you're thousands of miles from the Caribbean and everything is about money in the UK.
Right.
So then the wickedest thing about that now, you couldn't get a job because they had a little system here where they pay the unemployed a little bit of money. That's the only money you would get. You couldn't get a job working nowhere. You're lucky if somebody take pity on you and give you a job.
Right.
Whereas you come to work with your locks, you'll be told to cut it. They have the bus system here, and the first guy, if you drive the bus system with locks, was in the 80s, not the 70s, because they was you would be refused. So by holding out onto what you believe is your thing, that is all the thing break down, because a lot of things that Rasta was living towards, doing and aiming towards, it is now, today, people are seeing things, bloody hell. Rasta was saying that all that time. Even the elders are coming around to not exactly grow locks, but to see some of the point of view that the Rasta was talking all that time.
Right.
So today, I would say, even though you have small pockets of who don't accept it, a lot of the older generation, even though we have few of them left now, have come to accept it. But in the early days, it was like you committed murder. They wouldn't mind, because my parents didn't fight against it. Some parents go extreme. I know a guy who got stabbed by his own father because of it. You had to leave. Some parents would say, all right then, as long as you don't get in no trouble. But that was even a harder thing to do, because the police over here would just, use abuse and all sorts of things, because it was a strange way of living to them.
Right.
Yeah. Them days, you'd be walking the street and the police just pull you over. Today, now everybody want to mimic what them think Rasta is.
Right.
And then take it as a style and fashion thing. But in them days, it was a serious thing.
Right.
Even to the point where you say, well, nobody don't want to work for Babylon. Right? You want to work for yourself. Everybody was seeking to do themselves. So you turn to any little art and craft that you can do to earn money. Or you would go and train, go college and train. And today you see the fruits of that with many people who are artists in some way, are electrician and that. But you had to do it yourself, which is back to, like you say, Garvey teaching, which you do for self. You don't wait on people. Whereas the older generation would be waiting on the system. We was rejecting the system.
Right.
And in a turn where the elders never liked that. But today it changed. I'm not saying it's better, but it's a bit easier now that you can walk down the street and even people say, oh, hello, Rasta, or whatever. But in them days, you would get a dirty look. Or even people throw things at you.
Yeah. If I could, Karate, if I could, what he said there was so tight, because even the fact what he talked about with the police, like he was talking about, the police would pull you over. Now some of the police had dreads. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And okay, for somebody who lived through it, it's like a bitter victory, it's a bittersweet victory, because it's like now we accept it, but then the same man who was locking him up and taking my rights away 20 years ago, he wearing it now. You know what I mean? Like you can't, you know what I mean? Like a bittersweet thing. Because I'm from Trinidad. In Trinidad, right, the East Indians run the country, and you have the race factor there, just like how the white man would be in UK. you have the race factor. And the East Indians, a lot of them, now you had some brothers would do the same thing too, who would be police, but the East Indians, I remember they were famous, police on the whole, they were famous for beating Rasta men up, but beating them in the head to bust their head up so that when they had to go get stitches, they had to shave the dreads. You understand? Like the hatred for it was that deep, but it's really because it represented going against the crown, going against the religion of the day, which really is Christianity, which is why a lot of the homes get divided, because you want to be this clean, upstanding Negro for this white man, and not this nigger, not this vagabond, not this ragamuffin, the different names they would call us. And the dreadlocks, the braids, the afro, the beard, all those things get, like today the code word is thug. That's the code word today, thug. You understand? These thugs. But back then it was, the Rasta, the afro, the ragamuffin. It was those code words for nigger. And really, they didn't want you and your element in their space. And if you had to come in their space, you had to have a clean face and a bald head. Right. You know what I mean? And like the hair, it really was part of a movement which was way much bigger than what people think it is today. You know what I mean? I know Karafi was about to say something.
Quick question. So we know how our parents felt about it. It was a new rebel movement. We didn't like it. We wanted just to be comfortable. We wanted to be white and do no problems. So we know how our people felt about it. Tell me how the white man felt about it. Tell me how the system felt about it, the police, and so forth.
The system never liked it because they couldn't understand it. And from what they do understand of it, it's totally against what they're doing anyway, because you're saying you are this person. You are connected to your roots, you're connected to your culture, and you're black and you're proud. Now, anything like that is going to find difficulty in something that don't represent that. So they never like that and still don't. You might find one and two reach their society, high, rich money making schemes, and they feel they reach somewhere successful, but deep in the mind, they're not keen on that. Because even though we say locks, afro, and braids, if everybody was to turn up into work in a factory setting or an office setting wearing all these, it would still be a big blow. So you might find somebody like your white colleague would say, oh, is there something special you're celebrating today? And really and truly, you're just being yourself. You're being yourself. So it don't even matter if you come with locks or a long braid or a massive afro like a what you call them ball? The tennis ball.
Right.
Not tennis ball. The baseball. Big, right? A big, massive ball. They just say, well, where's he going with that? Because you stand out. They can see you in the middle of a crowd. If you turn up for a party and it's just Europeans in the party, you're going to stand out. Exactly. They're going to say, who's that guy with that big ball on his head? It's a natural thing to you, but to them it's a rebellion because you're not like the rest. Same like if a black woman have locks or she wear a head wrap, them say, wow, is that are you celebrating something? It's not it is celebration, but it's a natural thing. But they're not used to seeing somebody in a natural state, so they find it odd. You would never find a person question a Chinese person for wearing their traditional garments, or an Asian person wearing a traditional sari. They would not question it because they have never come out of it. They are always in it. Where we were taken out of it so long, to go back to it, it looks strange. And they remember where you were when you were like that. Exactly. So now to come live, live like that, no, it's a reminder, said, hey, you couldn't change me, the 500 years never work. So that is rebellion on their part, but it's a naturality to us.
You bring it, oh brother, listen, as you saying it, I'm thinking it so heavy as you saying it, because you are so right. Like, okay, you said, okay, they ain't used to seeing us people in a natural state, but then you went on to make the same point I was just thinking. Like, they don't ask the Chinese man, is he celebrating something today when he come with, the Chinese shirt with no color? The little Chinese shirt you wear, don't have no color. The Jewish man famous for not wearing a tie. They don't ask him for that. They don't ask the Pakistani man when he show up with the turban, the Pakistani and the Arab, and they be blowing people up and hacking people to death. You get the point? Like, they actually do things against society. All we have done was pray to your white Jesus, fight in your wars, serve your country, breastfeed your stinking babies, and you hate us for it. And you don't allow us to be who we are. Because really, when we don't have our culture, when we don't have our expression, when they take that away from us, we are more profitable slaves for them. And at the end of the day, this empire was built on slavery. It was built on colonizing a certain group of people. Like, the Chinese didn't build England. Benjamites did. You get the point?
That's
West Indians did. The Japanese, the African, the East Indian, they didn't build England. Like, England was not built on any resource they had. England was built on sugarcane, rum, and slave labor.
That's right.
You understand? And it was our slave labor. So it's to keep their foot on our necks even till this day. They keep out their foot on our necks. And even back then, you had so much of the riots and, the street protests and the clashes, but they ain't really clashes with their communities. Is there a Chinese clash with, the English boppies over opium? Is there that on file where they burn something down? Is there a clash between the boppies and the Pakistanis over the drugs or the terrorism? Ever. Even just last year, they found some building that them Pakistanis was raping white girls in. How much hundreds of them? Yeah. Right or wrong?
Even the term, it's so bad. Even the term for it, like, if a black man was to rape a white woman, it'll be this black man raped a white woman. So much Pakistanis rape white women. They're called Muslim grooming gangs. There's even a term for it now, man.
And this is they kidnap these women and keep them in buildings and just take turns raping them. That's right? And there was no descending of, MI6 Scotland Yard on them. But little us who's setting up a little corner store, playing a little music here and there, it will turn into, legendary riots. You know what I mean? Like the London riots, like the Brixton riots. It's because of who we are. And, one part of our history and our culture is the hair and what it represented for that time. You know what I mean? So it's so heavy you brought out that point where, he's like, they'll accept everybody else but us. And then we serve them. That's the thing. That's the thing that always grinds me. Like, these other nations did not serve the queen, did not serve the crown the way we did. Like, we really buckled down and served this empire. We gave this empire everything we had. Everything. With, not holding back. And they hate us for it. They absolutely hate us for it. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to chime in on that point there.
So, like I said, if I may, can I play? I want to play a quick video and see the brother. I asked the brother what's his thoughts on this video. This was a video of the 80s, so this is before I was born. I just want to know. It's about the riots. A young Rasta boy talking about how police was towards black people back then.
Let's get it.
So I want to watch the video and let me know your thoughts on this video. Okay. All right.
You know what, Karafia, too? If you could, you wanna take a quick 1 minute break. You play a commercial and we play the video as soon as we come back after the break.
You sure, sir? I can.
Yeah, if
I could play it now, because I got.
Okay, let's play it now. We take a break, then we come back. We'll still play it after, so everybody understand it. All right.
All right. So play it now. Take a break. Play it again.
Yeah. We play it now. Let's see how it go, and then we take a short break, just a little 1 minute break.
All right, sir. Cut it one, Khan.
Go ahead.
If you were black now, right, and you was all age, right, and you did go on the street, right, like 8 o'clock in the night, right, just say that, right, and you see two policemen like them, the dog outside there, right, and you just say, wow, they will pick up for nothing, yes, not all say you attempt to do this, you attempt to do that, and you never do nothing.
And it's them putting the ideas in the children's heads, right? Because they're picking on children.
Youth.
These are children talking, you know.
We didn't have to start that right. If them the Babylon never pick up one man, I'm showing a back a car before them bring him in a hospital to run. Put him in sure. If it wasn't for some youths, right, that boy would have been dead. And then we had to start up a riot. We had to start it. Brixton. Then treat everybody like dog.
All right, cool. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna get back. We're gonna ask the brother what's his thoughts about this, and we're gonna get back.
Yeah, let's just line up a quick commercial, a quick song. We take a quick break, all right?
Color one, concert. We get a quick break. So what, sir?
Two station, they gonna run England. 3 station, they gonna prison nation. Everybody want to listen to the B station. Advertise the stage show. From your session, they might take with the equipment and I put it in a van. If them block down, wanna build 5 more strong now. Strong now.
Down in England, we got lots of radio stations playing the people's music night and day. Reggae, calypso, hip hop or disco. The latest song today is what we play. On and on, off and on and up and on.
Come and say, keep them turn it up, we are gonna turn it on right. If them don't sit down, we are gonna build it up right. If them put it down, we are I go build it up. And I love this, and I love them too. We release and don't play it. All come shot. If I take the equipment and I put it in a box, if them brought down one is $5 billion.
Them a call us pirates. Them a call us illegal broadcasters.
I know like
just because we play what the people want.
say that back
and them a call us pirates. Them a call us illegal broadcasters. PTI try stop us, but they can't.
One station gonna run England, no station gonna run England, chase station gonna please the nation. Everybody want to listen to the base station.
Passing laws, planning legislation, trying their best to keep the music
No.
PTI want to leave us alone. They only play the music others want. On and on, up and on,
Come and say keep them turn it on, we ain't gonna turn it on back. If them broke it down, we ain't gonna build it up back. If them take the record, then we get fresh back. Now we love this station, and we love the two of us. We release and don't play it, but I'll come shot. DTI fight, but them can't stop me. And the public station to the cards, alright, I got them my head that. Them have to take back them chat. Now we love the music, ballad and
them a call us pirates. Them a call us illegal broadcasters. Just because
Karate, I see you have your DJ license, Zach. I see I'd call you DJ Karate. I'd call you Big DJ, Big Bad. I'd call you
like I said, I inherited my DJ license.
I
cook my lab line of sound, man.
I'd call you.
I ain't even joking. I mean, serious. My grandfather was a sound man. I'm a mom's side serious. So I cook my lab line of sound, man. So
watch you, Braga.
So we're back.
Alright, Braga. Alright, Braga, man. Braga. Alright, Braga. Yeah, man. That definitely was right.
So like I said, so we played a video about young you in Brixton at the time complaining about police brutality. So like I said, you want to play it again?
Yeah, play it again just in case, you know. I mean, I would think that, you know, because you have a decent amount of people watching online, they probably would have shared the video in the break, you know, just in case new people came on. You know, you want to keep them in tune, so I would run it back again. Just give them a context of what the video is about.
Okay, so I'll break down. So this is 1981. So, you know, before I was come on the scene, you know, we talk about police brutality now, but little do we know that it happened in the past. There ain't nothing much change. So this is, you know, a young brother in 1981 in Brixton, as you know, with a black community, you know, in London. And his brother complaining about what we go through today, about the police will pull you over and treat you bad and so forth. So that's what we're going to get into right now. So I'm going to share this video right now. 1 second. Bear with me a minute.
I get you. Just let me know once you're ready. Also, too, in the break, you know, I was thinking about too how, okay, this thing with the hair is not just affecting the so-called Negro. You know what I mean? Remember, we have Hispanic and Native Indian brothers who go through the same oppression. And if you remember, the Native Indian boarding schools of America, where, you know, America in trying to indoctrinate the Native Indians, would take the children from the Native Indian parents at a young age and cut their hair and then teach them the Christianity and teach them the English. I don't know if you ever seen it. I'll probably look for the video and later on in the show we'll share it. Sure. But it's it's that same thing of trying to control you and oppressing you and really humiliating you by taking you and cutting off something that is part of your body.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That is me well known about that. I heard about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I would look for the video like later on. We would play it with this brother. He's probably 70 years old, 60 years old, and he's telling you about it because he was a child from the boarding schools of the Native Indians, and he is crying, talking about how bad it was, how they beat him in his head as a child if he didn't speak English, and then they cut his ear, and the whole thing is a ritual to break your spirit. You know what I mean? It's a ritual to break your spirit. So that
cut out the culture.
Yeah, and take your culture. And so that whole movement coming out of the 70s, 60s, 70s, it was rebellion. And it was righteous rebellion against this empire. You know what I mean? It was righteous rebellion for the time. You know what I mean? But go ahead, I ain't going to hold you up on the video too much.
If you were black now, right, and you was all right, right, are you at o'clock in the night, right? Just say that, right? Are you see two policemen like them the dog outside there, right? Are you just a walk? They will pick up for nothing, yes? Not tell us say you attempt to do this, you attempt for that. Do that, and you never do nothing.
And it's them putting the ideas in the children's heads, right? Because they're picking on children.
Youth.
These are children talking,
We didn't have to start that right. If them the Babylon never pick up one man, I'm showing a back here before them bring him in a hospital to put him in. Sure. If it wasn't for some youths, right, that boy would have been dead. And then we had to start up a riot. We had to start it. And treat everybody like dog.
Listen, you gotta get that youth man a hand, man. That youth man
brother here,
Yeah, give him a hand, brother. Give him a strong hand for that thing. Like he a young brother, and the way how he talk. You know what I mean? He young, but you could tell the way how he talk, he has some spirit in him, he has some conviction in him still, and he have a sense of injustice. He have a sense of right and wrong versus this is how it is. Like he's like, that can't go on. You know what I mean?
So Ataru and the chat, if you want the video, go to the I.S.U.P.K United Kingdom on Facebook. The video is there. So again, this is a brother from Brixton. If you can't, it got the London accent mixed with the patois, bit of London, in and out. And he's saying, he's upset with the injustice that's going on. Could you speak upon this injustice that that you've seen in the 80s or you've experienced in the 80s?
Yes, that is a typical scene from the 80s of how black youth was treated. Even to the point where even if you never have locks and you have a hat on your head, look like you have locks underneath that hat, you will be pulled over. And with our people now, you can plait your hair and loose out your hair and it look like locks. You will be pulled over. That is the 80s. And we had a hell trying to convince our parents at the time that the police can pull you over for nothing. They would not believe it because they come from a time where in the Caribbean, in them days, talking about 50s, 40s, 60s, you would only pull over by police if you are a criminal.
Right.
They could not understand that they would just pull you over because of how you look. That never make no sense to our parents. And until it gets so big that nobody could really hide it anymore, that's the only time they started to believe. That time the damage has been done. So that youth was explaining that the way things are so intense against the black youth at the time in the 80s, England, the riot was forced to happen. And it happened in London, Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds. These are all cities, like that's a New York, Washington, all at once.
Right.
And when that happened now, them kind of ease off and go, well, these people, they're not going to stand there and take it.
Right.
So each time that was in the 80s. That was the 80s riot. And then later on, you have another one. But before even all that, there was a riot in the 50s.
Sorry, to cut in. Because, see, I'm born in the 90s, so I know about the 90s riot. I know about the 2000 riot. I even know about the 80s riot. So I didn't know the riot in the 50s, man.
There was a riot in the 50s.
So could you, so the riots in the 50s, that's where my grandparents were. That's a suit and tie,
Yes.
afro, wearing those kind of guys. Tell me about that riot also.
Well, that riot is very little known about that riot, but you can find it on the internet. I'm not sure how you can get to it, but it's there somewhere. If you type in something like early riot in a UK Caribbean community, you might find something come up. But they had a riot in the 50s. And that was even different because that was nothing to do with here. That just do with being black. Where in them days, as I said, people used to come over here, invited by the British government to come over, work, and build them society. But them never explained to them community, look, we're going to have some folks from the Caribbean come over and work. They never explained it. So when all the shipload and plane load coming over, it was a shock to the indigenous of England at that time. So where our people were suffering, because the suffering start long before some of us born in a UK. It start with the parents coming here. The first suffering was them coming here and having the shock of working in the cold, snow, and can't find decent job. Yet they were told that jobs are here. Second thing that hit them was housing. They never wanted to give them decent accommodation. And so you find today, 2020, many of the rules and regulations that you see in the UK is because of black people why they are there. Because we had to rebel. They had a thing they call color bar, which them would bar anybody of color from entering. That is even go down to the entertainment sector where you see sound system big today. We have to fight to keep that.
Sorry, if I may, this officer right here, Officer Dungabar, has a book called The Windrush. In the Windrush, it said that black people had to rent a room. You couldn't have a house, and they was paying for that room money that a white man would pay for a house. The landlord will take the bath out and use the bathroom as an extra room to put more black people in there. And we had to share the cooker and everything.
Yes.
You know, so it's all true.
Hey, correct. Does Dungabar have that book there? Is the book in the school?
Go grab it.
It's in the Shiraku. It's in the Shiraku.
How do you know, man? That's a traffic. Oh shit!
Please, if you don't mind, Dungabar, if you could bring it for me. Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead, brother. Yeah, because you touching on some points there about music too, where like that song we just played. I'm gonna come back to it, but you go ahead, brother.
Yeah, as I was saying, the rebellion was about just being black, and it's like to the community you have a cheek to ask for somewhere to live and something to do as work, and you have to remember, if the system was true and fair to the people coming from the Caribbean, none of us would be on this internet today. In terms of this, when the elders came to the UK, to England, they only came here for 5 years because the passport at them time was only for 5 years. So everybody thought that they could come here, raise enough money to go back within the 5 years.
Right.
But when they come, because that they could not find no decent housing or a decent job that would pay enough to leave. So what start happening? You start having your family. So when they started having family, because you have to remember, not a lot of people brought their kids with them to the UK.
Right.
They came alone. So when they came alone, they only came to work and go back. Because they couldn't get no accommodation decent enough and no job decent enough to pay them, they had to stay over the 5 years. So while you're staying here, you and your wife, as over 5 years, you start having your family.
Mm-hmm.
So when the children start to born, you need a bigger place, and that was more problem again.
Mm-hmm.
And it went on and on and on until the government kind of was forced to do something about it, where they start to find half-decent housing for them. And that was the first problem. The second problem coming was these generation that was born to the first people that came over. You had to find schooling. That was where the bigger problem started, because they would even tell you, oh, there's no position in this school for your child. There's no place here for your child. Try down the road. So people used to go through all these things. But with the generation that came, because they were more passive, they would not rebel. They would just accept it and say, maybe there's right. You know, there's no room for me in this school. So even when after that period where you have to go and find jobs now as a child born in the UK, as a black child, that again was a problem. It's like, I could tell you a story about a lady. She left school about 1977.
Okay.
When she went for the interview for the job, the lady that interviewed her was a white lady, and the white lady said to her, you've got the job, but you got to go into the factory and ask these people if they will work with you because you're black.
Wow.
So when you face something like that, a lot of people who could afford it, they went back. But for the majority, you were stuck in a place where you have to make do with what you do. That's where you kind of get the rebellious people now start to come up, because everywhere you turn, there's a roadblock. Everywhere you turn, there's a brick wall. So you had to find something to do or say.
Right.
And the only thing was to look to yourself. And one of the things that helped the people get through this, with most people who come from a Christian background, they've turned to the church.
Right.
But when that wasn't working, some people start to question the church and say, well, you know what? The church isn't strong enough for what I'm going through. So then turn to reggae, music.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because the music was then based upon leaving all of this behind and going back to Africa,
right? Then
you get people start to say, you know what, maybe that's true. If I can't get nowhere here, might as well leave and go and do something else somewhere else. Right. So then that's where you get the rebellious thing again, where people start to reject what was spoon-fed to them over the years, because you get qualified and you can't get no work. Even today, 2020, you still have students who are leaving highly qualified, still can't get no job. 2020.
That's true.
It's crazy.
That's a fact.
And all I can look at that and say, well, they know that if you have a whole elite of students within the black community coming out, you know they're going to lead to something good. So the only way you could do it is block it. Mm-hmm. Which is what we're facing with now and then. And they will tell you, oh, you're overqualified. Well, to me, that would be the best person for the job.
Right.
But it don't work that way in this society.
Yeah, definitely. And they only tell that to us. They only say overqualified to us. And what you're saying there was so heavy, the way how you link it together, because, you know, we go through the hard times where they say, you know, you imagine your room you rented is a bathroom. That ain't big enough for nothing. That's like a prison cell. And then you come across here like, you know, under the impression you're going to get work. But when they brought the East Indian indentured laborers to the Caribbean, they gave them acres of land and good money. But us who actually work for them, this is how they treat us. And okay, the point you brought out about how first people turn to the church, and that's what was beaten into us, to turn to their Christianity. But their Christianity can't hold water because it's built for them. Their Christianity is for their society, it's not for us. So now it ain't hold water, and you know, we had to look for somewhere else. And some people who had the skill with the music did it. The craftsmen started coming out, people who could hustle. But then there's a whole section of our society that was left without earning power. And then our oppressor, this white man, he introduced what? Drugs and the narcotics and the trade and this trade and that trade, the weed trade, the drugs trade, whatever. And so it's damn near like they set the thing up to funnel us into a certain thing. It's like, if you don't conform and follow them, you're going to go down into our life of crime, not because we want to, but how I'm gonna eat. How will I even eat? You get the point? So like it's so heavy how you link that together there. I think that was absolutely right. And it's going to be received better than if one of us say it versus you, who, you know, everybody, you know, you definitely bring in the authenticity to the whole thing because you don't live through it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So if I may read this from the book called The Windrush.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, when I came, I found me and my husband and this baby in one room. So this is a woman that was a part of the Windrush. Her husband invited her to come over and join him in England. And when she came, she thought he was living lavish and living good because, you know, it's in England.
Right.
She saw him living in one room. I couldn't believe it. And I said to him, is this how I'm expected to live? Anyway, he was living in a house, just a bachelor. And we had heard about another room. In those days, it was just rooms, but you never see them because somebody always was in. So you always have to wait till that person leaves for you to come in. And then my husband came in and said to me, the house hasn't got a bath. And I said, I'm not going to live in a house without a bath. And when I went back to the landlord, I said, where we were. He laughed his head off. Look, my dear, most of the houses here have no baths because what they did in those days, they used to take the bathroom and rent it out as a bedroom to make money, you see. So he laughed at me and said, you don't refuse a room because it hasn't got a bath. So what they did was take the bath out and use the bathroom as another room. So you're a white landlord with a 4-bedroom house. Now you got a 5-bedroom house because that bathroom's also a 1-2, man.
And charging rent for a full house.
And if I may, sir, the next page, page 135. Say you were a white person, you could get a whole flat for £1.25 a week, a whole flat, and some of them got a front and back garden. If you're lucky enough to get a ground floor, but we were obliged to pay £3, that's double, for one room. And at the end, you had to cook outside in the passageway. They would have a stove and maybe 3 or 4 people would use the stove. It was a rat race because if you put your money in, you make sure you go and put your food on right away. And this happened, man.
Yo, listen, I'm getting lit right here, right now, listening to this thing. This is just modern slavery act. It's modern slavery because you telling me everything I work for, I just had to give it back to you. And then you treat me like a dog. I had to cook in the street. Where the hell am I going to bathe? I have a woman. What's she going to do when she unclean during her monthly? Like she don't have a private room she could go in? But yet still, when we sing songs about burn Babylon, burn, and Christopher Columbus was a damn liar, and Sizzler said Rastaman don't apologize to no batty boy, they have a problem with us. They have a problem with us. But they treat us like we animals. They treat us less than human. And then they want to talk all proper and prissy like they're the most respectable people on the earth. When they're a nation of goddamn bastards, man. Like, how could you do this to people? And then call yourself modern and civilized. After these people, foreparents done worked for you and gave you blood, sweat, and judgment tears. This is what you do? Well, listen, now you know the old people have a saying, God don't sleep. God don't sleep, right? And brother, coronavirus is the beginning of the Lord waking up. Coronavirus is the beginning of it, and more plagues is going to come to these empires for their evil, what they did to us, man. That's some evil things to do to people. Very evil. Go ahead.
This is England, man. Black people living in poverty in England. The God Save the Queen, British Empire, crumpets and tea has black people living in poverty in England, man. People across, I know people have never been to England, think that England's all crumpets and tea and the London Bridge and riches and people sipping tea with a pinky like this. And the same country that got money and riches had black people living in poverty, man. And meanwhile, the Turks come over here, the Pakistani man come over here, and his foreparents didn't cut no cane. Meanwhile, he gets a brand new house, man. He gets a house that no one's ever lived in, man. And this is how we had to suffer, man. This is how we, and then them same people that suffered, that same generation that suffered, helped to build England even more, man. Built the NHS, built the underground in London, man. So Slack, if you want to chime in on that, just let me know about your experiences on that or your,
Well, me personally looked on all that. I say, well, we did all that. I say it's time to do it somewhere else. You have the skill, we have the skill, just use it somewhere else. It's like most of the things where Garvey talk and do, we haven't even done yet. We do it for other people. We do it for other people. We haven't even done it yet for ourselves. I mean, the whole industry, car industry, everything, we do it for somebody else. Sound system, even the system in a car, we do it for somebody else. It's we first put the system in a car that make it sound the way it sounds. And everywhere in the world is $1 million thing now. Everywhere you turn, we come with a new idea because we're back forced against the wall. When you're back forced against the wall, we always come up with something new.
Like what you said was heavy. I remember the black man in England first put a speaker box in the trunk of a car, and now a sound system in the car is normal now. And what you said was heavy because I remember my parents told me that back in the day, a black man couldn't go to a club, he couldn't go to a discotheque, and black people used to just turn their front room into a shubbing, and then what happened? Too much noise. We can't take the noise no more. Police will come and shut it down.
And then you have, with that now, you have rule and regulation about sound in terms of not sound system, but noise level. Where if the level is about a certain level, then just lock it down or arrest you and charge you for that. So you can't really have no party as such unless you call and tell your neighbor that you're going to have a party. So then people start to hire halls and do their own thing. But again, certain halls now have a thing where they call noise restriction. So if the noise come a certain level, it cut out the electric. So it's always a little, when them push, you push back. Them push, you push back. So really, it's trying to fall back on that same creativity that we have, that when something is blocking the way, we find another way to create something to come out of that blockage. To me, one of the main things we should really push for ourselves is education of self and do for self. We still haven't reached that level where we can say, turn to our own youngsters and people in certain industry. Most things we want, we have to turn to the next other nation who is doing it already. Right. Because they have gotten their system built before them leave them land that this is what we come here to do. The trouble with us is that when our people came here, it was only to earn money. They wasn't thinking futuristic in terms of nation and building infrastructure where the children would look to self rather than we looking out. So every time you look out, you get disappointment.
See, I come around in the 90s, so when I come around here, Indian man owned all the businesses. Yes. I've heard about before the Indian man, black man owned everything. Black shoe shops, black hair shop. Tell me about that. I don't know. I come on later on the scene. I heard the black man sold all his businesses to the East Indians. The East Indians are the kind of men that they'll sit back, watch your business, and then take it off you. They'll give you an offer that you can't refuse. Tell me about that, how it was back then when black men owned England, when Brixton was black, Aston, Handsworth, Meanwood, where else? What's one in Manchester? It was what? Moss Side. In Leeds, it was what? Town. Tell me about that when black people own stuff.
You see, it's easy for that to happen. It's easy for that to happen. And the reason that happened is this. Our parents did not come here to create something of their own. They come here to join what is already here and build what is already here. So it's easy for you. So black people were successful after the 60s, 70s, very business-minded, very rich in what they do, but they don't see community. They see individuals. So like, if you have a black man, him work in a factory and him buy a big brand new house, buy a car, that is him. Him fix already. And if he manage to get a business outside of that, and a man from outside his community say, oh, I like your business, I'd buy that. How much? He would sell it because his plan was never to build it and pass it on.
So like you said, I wonder if you heard that, sir. Or what he said is what
I want that in there too. Go ahead.
The brother said that we didn't come to build our own, we came to join. You get me?
That is the problem.
The East Indian man, he didn't come to join.
No.
That's why he don't speak English, he speaks his own language. Yes. Chinatown has Chinese writing, which no one else can understand. Yes. They didn't come to join, they come to establish their own, and we come to join. And we're the I.S.U.P.K, we teach that we're not supposed to join, we're supposed to be separate, and that's the problem.
That's what I wanted to ask too, you know what I mean? Just on that point, I want to ask him, okay, being that he has, like brother, you have a you damn near have a double blessing of being from that era and around see it today. So you see both sides of it. You're not just hearing stories like some of us would hear it. You seen it. So your appreciation, the way how you could digest it is different. So what I want to ask you, do you think it's time now that we segregate? At one time, we looked at segregation like it was evil, right? True Christianity and Martin Luther King and all of that with this integration thing. But do you think now is like it's high time we self-segregate, like we practice racism? And I'm not talking the racism about being violent towards them or beating them up, but I'm talking about being first, socially racist, just like how they have this social distancing. It's so ironic. This coronavirus, they talk about social distancing, but all these empires socially distance themselves from us for 400 years. Imagine you would come up here, they would bring us to UK and charge the white Briton £125 for a house, but us £3 for a small room in the house. That's socially distancing. So, it starts socially distancing. It starts with financial distancing. Now we should have spiritual distancing where we leave all the religions alone. Like, is it time for now black people, the descendants of slaves, because even the Africans I have a problem with, not just from a religious standpoint or our doctrine, but just on the mere fact that they come into our communities and they do not help. They do not join our fight. They come and they profit and get rich off it and build their little Cameroon, their little Ghana, their little Nigeria. They don't really try to say, yo, y'all, we supposed to be brothers in their mind or lift us up because they know what we went through. So is it time now that the people who descended from the slaves, who worked, the foreparents of the Windrush, the descendants of those generations, the descendants of the ones back in not just Jamaica, but Barbados, St. Lucia, Trinidad, Grenada, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, should we now decide now, really, we done with this? We buying from our own. We ain't going down to the Chinese shop no more. We ain't buying from the Arab no more. If my brother don't have it, I'll do without until he could get it. Like, now, do you think it's a time now?
I agree.
Racist?
I agree. But I don't think it will happen.
Hey, brother, I could rock with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. But I don't think it will happen as fast as we want it to. It will happen in pockets. And it will happen when more devastation things happen to us. Then we wake up. And to me, Marcus Garvey set the plan long time. Long time him do that. But most people don't see it, even to this day. We need our own shops, we need everything else. But on top of that, we need culture and education in terms of all the sciences, biology, everything we can turn to. I mean, over here we have, as a surgeon man, have like you'd get your medicines and your tablets. We don't see those owned by black people. And it's simply because most people think they're comfortable, and it's not okay. So because they feel it's comfortable, they don't seek to get it. It's only when things like now you see people running around scared saying, oh, I better get a mask. You know the Asian man though? Him start manufacture mask.
Right.
We don't think of, when I say we, some of us, there's pockets of us that the majority of us do not believe anything is wrong until the outside tell you something is wrong. So until something devastating, even though this is bad, worse than this, then you won't get people moving in a way where it's more positive. I mean,
I agree with if I could,
like the own school, own college, the own university. We don't have that.
If I could interrupt,
and to me, even on your side of the pond, the US.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
All right. Even your side of the pond, I would have feel you have more positive people over that side because most of what's going on in a positive light for black people style is like it come from Garvey. here we tend to ignore what past giants have done for us. We ignore it, and we ignore it at our own peril. And every time we ignore it, something happened to us, and we start crying and running around saying, oh, come this, oh, come that. We should know it by now. But I am not one to beat up on a nation and say, oh, we should be doing it. I say, well, give out the word, give out the sound, give out the works, and whoever wants to do it will do it. Because somebody will get benefit out of it. You know?
I feel what you're saying. I honestly feel what you're saying. And if I could, I mean, just to backtrack, okay, you like the point you bring out with the mask, like, oh, okay, this thing come around and the other nations seeking to capitalize on it. But imagine we was a segregated society where we live in a certain part of Brum where other nations don't come in. Like, we would have already been quarantined from this thing. That this thing would not have affected us. You get the point? So even beyond the mask thing, like, we could have been so segregated with our own schools, our own hospitals, where the news, you know, the news now is saying black people are being affected even more, especially in America here. So imagine we were separate. We were separate and distinct from this society. It would have been way less of us, maybe zero even, who even contracted it. And okay, to the point you're bringing out about, you know, we wait until something bad happens. That's entirely true. And I think it has to do with our history being under a slave religion and Christianity and under our slave master, where we are the only people who don't look at ourselves as a racial group. Everybody else looks at themselves as, I am Nigerian. Them Nigerians be proud as hell. Senegal, Ghana, the Chinese. Forget about the Ethiopian. The Ethiopian think he's the best thing on the earth. The white man, everybody looks at themselves like they are in a racial group. We look at ourselves like we will just assimilate, or we nothing. And that mindset is why it's hard for us to separate totally. And okay, this is what I would say. This is just again just because of my teachings, right? For something like, because you have to understand, not you, but everybody listening. I'm sure you already, you know, process that in your mind. But the oppression we are under, it's not by chance. It's not day to day. It's calculated. Design. It's by design. It's very specific. And really, it's an act of war. The oppression we're under is a strategic act of war. It's an attack. And the only way to survive an attack is to attack. And we don't understand as a people that life is about war. And that's why we're so passive in how we deal with a problem. Like, you know, like how we say, you know, not all of us will get it and it's going to take a long time. If we looked at this like this was a fight, this was a war, it wouldn't matter how long it took to get victory. We would fight until we got victory. You get the point? Right. So what you're saying is absolutely right, where a lot more bad things have to happen, a lot more disasters, a lot more atrocities, injustices have to happen, you know, for our people to wake up. And then our oppressor is widening the gap between the older generation and the younger one. And then at the same time he widens it, he's pitting the older generation against the younger one. Like he's pushing the older generation to talk bad about the young one. The younger generation ignore and disrespect the older generation. And we're the only people who that happens to. The East Indians still live with Mai and Bap upstairs, even though the young generation downstairs. The Chinese still have all, you know, so-and-so in the back there. The African, everybody has that link because that's your history. That's the pain of your people, the joys, the struggles, the strife of your people in living form. When you cut people off like that, you disjointed, and now you have a whole generation just floating in space, and they get to capitalize on that and turn this young generation into money for them. You understand? Like our generation is the only one they use to promote music, to promote sports, to promote sporting goods, to promote clothes, whatever, because we are the only generation who's not tied to anything. And it's because we're scared of being race, to accepting race. Race as something, you know, that is value, and we should, you know, take it on as this is my race, this is who I am. That person is not my race. I don't have no issue with them in terms of physical violence, but I'll not buy from their mother's restaurant. I'll not go to their mother's clothing store. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Like black people, when I was in UK a few years ago, I asked the brothers, where's the restaurant? What's the famous restaurant? They're telling me about this place called Nando's. I'm telling them I'm not going there. Take me down. What's the place I like to go, Karathia? And I'll tell you how I like to go. Right down the corner.
Oh, Blue Marlin.
Blue Marlin. Take me to Blue Marlin. Pies and what's the juice Dumgabar give me? The juice with the Guinness in it.
Oh, Guinness punch.
Guinness punch. It's something like sexy juice or something like that. Like give me the thing that my people could pay their bills with. I'm not going and spending no money by nobody else. I don't care if I had to drive 2 hours to get a meal. Like that's where we had to go because the rest of the world is at war with us. And we're not seeing it as a people. We don't see how they treat us and why they're doing it. We just think is, a few people are evil against us when this entire system is made to benefit off of us. You know what I mean?
So if I may chime in, so like what I said was heavy, man. Every other nation is racist. And when I mean racist, I don't mean burning the cross and Ku Klux Klan. I mean they love their own people and they don't like other countries. Like England don't like France. They're cordial. They'll buy the Fiat. They'll buy the Seat car. But they like their own nation. Look at the English national anthem. There's a pastor on the show the other day say how it's wrong to have conflicting music when every country's national anthem is conflicting. Every country's national anthem is saying my country is better than yours. The British national anthem is saying God save the Queen. Let us be victorious. How are we victorious? Victorious is when you kill someone else and you win them. And the British national anthem is saying send her victorious, happy and glorious. That's a racist anthem right there, man. That's saying my country is better than your country, man. And black people, we need that. We gotta say, you know what? Let's support our businesses. My nation is better than your nation. What I buy from your nation will be cordial, but you can't come into my nation. You can't integrate with my nation.
Right.
We'll trade, we'll buy and sell, but you can't come with ours, man. And England showed us the way. Every nation, even America, the national anthem, they sing it with their chest and say, listen, I love my country, they're patriotic, and we gotta be that same way, man. What's the problem? We don't want to be racist, and that's the problem, man. That's why every nation comes on. As you said, the Asian man will watch a black business, see how it runs, and then buy it off us. How is it Russell's? The Jamaican shop in Los Altos called Russell's. We sell Jamaican food, man. And for years, it's been run by Caribbean people. And recently, the East Indian man bought it. The East Indian man don't know what ackee is, don't know what saltfish is, don't know if you fry it, boil it. All he knows is niggas buy that and it makes money.
That's good. And listen, if I could too, what you were saying there about the Chinese is so heavy. I told you, Commanding General Yahanna does these coronavirus updates. Everybody, you go check out Black Watch channel. Let me just give it a plug real quick there, Karathi. If you could allow me the screen share, me begging you, please. Our song there, me beggar, please.
How you gonna hit me with my own shit, man? Come on.
Listen, you's the one who questioned my damn passport. I'd have flashed it in your face. You know what I mean? Allow me the screen share, me begging you, please. Yeah, I mean.
I got I'm gonna hit you back in the American term. How you gonna front on me like that? Man?
Yeah, man. But yeah, come on. I mean, this is the brother who's in charge of our school, and he has a channel that he runs his weekly podcast on and releases videos daily. Every Monday night, 9 p.m. You check out Commander John-Yahanna live from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For UK, it would be what? 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. GMT time.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And it's Black Watch. You'll go subscribe to that channel. Like Commander John-Yahanna did a video a couple weeks ago about what you say in there with the Chinese, because in China, the Chinese they started blaming the Africans. And of course, according to our teaching, I know we ain't gonna get into the doctrine, but I just mentioned it. According to our teaching, we're not African. We the 12 tribes of Israel, right? But now he was showing what the Chinese was doing to the Africans. First, coronavirus came out of China, right? Everybody knew this was a Chinese disease. It was straight out of China. They was eating bat and pangolin, and that's not what we eat. the Africans living in China started getting infected. The Chinese government turn around now and say how the Africans brought COVID to them, and that's how they get it. So they start kicking the Africans out of the hotels, the apartments, putting them on the streets. And then the general, he went in to show the political aspect of it, where China is well known for going into Africa and setting up shop in little countries. They do it in the Caribbean too. Every Caribbean island have a Chinese community that own the groceries, Chinese laundry. There's a famous DJ in Trinidad called Chinese Laundry because, of course, his father owned a laundry. You get the point? Like they're there. And what the general, he found out that they sent Chinese people into these little countries in Africa, South Africa, Kenya. I think Tanzania is one. You all had to watch this particular episode I'm highlighting here, right? China moves to blame COVID on Africans, seizing prime business takeover. You all make sure and check it out. I'm gonna put the link in the chat for the brothers to share. But he found out that, you know, those little businesses they would set up, the grocery stores, the the hair salons. You think it's an individual Chinese family, right? When you go in the store, you think it's just a family in there, right? They set up in there and they get the surrounding community to buy, and then the Chinese government comes and buys the store. But really, the Chinese government was behind it all along. They were sending them to these places, fronting them the money so they don't operate. Because you know, when you start a business, you operate as a loss. And you wonder why these Chinese places are able to survive. Is because it's a government attack. They send a random family here, open up a Chinese store, open up a grocery store, open up a restaurant, open up a laundry. And then you see the change in families. And all of a sudden, the whole thing gets a makeover and it look proper. And that's when the Chinese government comes in and buys the business, you know, on the face value from the family. And now the Chinese government is getting your money through six wings and fried rice, through the grocery store, through the damn laundry. Like you think you buying from Ming Lee, Miss Ming Lee, Tong Ting. You think you buying from them? You buying from the Chinese Republic. And it's in this video. Y'all go check it out. Commander Gen.YAHANNA, he broke it down. And once again, you're not going to hear that anywhere else. But he went and pulled the news articles and the research to show how the Chinese government was doing it. So this is an attack on people, and they're right to do it because they love their own people. Where are our leaders that teach us to be that racist? You get the point?
Yeah, a true way I talk. One of the things is with that is like, without our help, that could never work.
That's right.
You know, in the Caribbean, the same thing. I went to a shop when I was there a couple of years ago in Jamaica. And my brethren take me to the shop. Say, yeah, I got the shop. When we got the shop, Chinese, Mr. Brethren, me now go in there to go spend no money. Right. And him find it strange. So I say, why you want Mr. Brethren? Where is that money going? This is Jamaica. Where is that money going? It's not going to stay in Jamaica. It's leaving and it's heading right to China and make China stronger. China don't even have its own resources. That's why it's spread out all over the world.
That's right.
These things cannot happen. If we allow it to happen, it will happen. If we refuse to trade with them, they will sink instantly because they need the world. The world don't need them.
That's right.
And our people need to learn that. Once you learn that lesson, you don't need them because them can live amongst you and don't even talk to you and still exist. Well, the only way him exists is because you come into him shop and spend your money thinking you're getting good goods. And their goods are so cheap anyway.
Right.
And you buy cheaply, go home with it, and it don't even last long. You go back and you repeat the process over and over. As you say, the shop get bigger, brighter. That's sometimes they even tell you to get out of them shop.
Right.
It's crazy. We need to break these cycles of depending on other people when other people don't depend on you the same.
That's right.
Anyway.
If I could right there, brother, I ain't gonna hold you too long. I know we done listen. I appreciate you coming on the show. You know what I mean? I would like to have you again, maybe like in like a month or so again, we'll talk about different topics. But before you go, you know, you said something heavy where like they don't have resources and you know the world don't need them, they need the world. If I could just clarify that a little bit, like they need us because we really run the world. The world economy was built on slavery. It was built on cotton and sugar cane. It was built on us. Every nation, they profit from what we do. So now you so right in it. No, the thing is, you saying we need to not spend from them. What we missing that they have is a government that everybody ascribes to and trusts. We don't have that one central thing, and that's what we're building in the UPK under the Most High, under Christ, through the Bible. The Bible is our constitution, and we realize that this is a black man's book. Everybody in there was black, and the laws in there tell us, listen, we are the special people of the earth. And we should not be with these heathens. We should be with ourselves, and we would rule over them. Like the brother gonna pull us one scripture before you roll out on exactly what we was just talking about, and this was prophecy which Moses gave to the children of Israel coming out of Egypt. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28:43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
Right, stop right there. The stranger, which is these Chinese, the Chinese people, they come amongst us and they live amongst us and get up very high. Very high. They have a whole ton of money. They get a whole ton of money, make Chinatown. Even, man, listen, I remember growing up where, you would have Sound Clash. You know what I mean? DJ Sound Clash. And now you have Mighty Crown being a real authentic challenger. And they're strangers to our culture. That's not us. But they come amongst us at a very high. And we become...
At the same time, at the same time, like you said, the sound system and the music thing. As I say, just like the shops and the stores, once him come into your house, is you let him in.
That's true.
Not directly, but our people let them in. That is where we pay the price.
That's true.
Anytime you let them in, we pay the price.
That's true.
There is no... You don't have no black man in no Chinese music. You don't have that. When they have the Chinese New Year celebration,
right?
When you have Chinese New Year celebration or whatever celebration they keep, there is no dark face there. There is none. Not even to sweep the street, you're not there.
Right.
So how come when we have our thing there in it? It's because some of us open the door. And once you open the door, all kind of things come through your house.
That's the truth. That's the truth, brother. And that's the Bible right there. Listen, brother, I ain't gonna take up too much more of your time. I know you're probably getting ready to roll. You know what I mean? We definitely gonna continue the show for a little bit while longer. We're gonna go over the time. I want to give you the opportunity to close out the show, whether at least to close out your portion if you had any words you wanted to say before you left. But we definitely look forward to having you back on. I definitely enjoy the time with you. And your experience and the stuff you talk about. It was so right for us to hear in this time. You know what I mean?
All right, Bridget. Peace, yeah?
You want to say anything? You want to say anything before you leave?
Let's carry on the works.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
That's Nita from Birmingham, you know what I mean? The powerful brother, you know what I mean? Brother came through. You know what I mean? We appreciate your time. And thanks again, yeah? All right, bless you, man. Yeah.
All right, bless you. Lord be with you, brother. I appreciate that. Karate, let's go for a quick break, man. When you come back, I'm gonna light you up with this DJ thing here. You talk about DJ. Listen, what kind of DJ gonna be and you gonna have a dub plate? I have a dub plate right now for your hot off the press Teflon. Black Rhino in your pay. Listen, man. Come on.
Right. Let me hold a quick dub, yeah? I'm gonna hold a quick. No, we'll see bad in this team.
Listen, I come to kill now. Yeah, listen. When I come in, Bounty gonna come out the back room there and say, "People there." Listen, trust me, we go down.
People there. Like, me, I don't kill man straight away. I warms into it. You know what I mean? Like I don't cut off the head. I cut the legs off first, arms off. You know what I mean? At time.
You see, by the time. Listen, by the time you don't do that, I don't block the 12 people, man. Listen, we build up. Go ahead, play that.
Come on, Khan, sir. All right, sir. Come on, Khan.
I and I hold I know. I and I hold I say. I I.S.U.P.K Christopher Colombo's is a jam blast lion. Christopher Colombo's is a jam blast lion. Yes, John. He's saying that he's the first one who discovered Jamaica. And I say that. What about the Arawak Indians and the few black men who were down here before him? The Indians couldn't and no longer. Here comes black man and woman and children. And he not jam down Lanya. Holy pa mix up. A holy pa bed up. Happy straight in the house. Christopher Colombo's is a jam blasted lion. Christopher Colombo's is a jam blasted lion. Yes, God. What a long stay from home. I ain't allowed it to go home. Within a red green and gold robe. Come on, 12 tribe of Israel. Come on, 12 tribe of Israel. Out a jam down Lanya. A holy pa mix up. A holy pa pedo. Come on, 12 tribe of Israel. Come on, 12 tribe of Israel. Out a jam down Lanya. Yes, Jah. Christopher Colombo's is a jam blasted lion. Christopher Colombo's is a jam blasted lion. Yes, Jah. He's a lion. Yes, Jah. He's a lion. Yes, Jah. He's a lion. Yes, Jah. No logos. He's a lion. Yes, Jah. Christopher Columbus. He's a lion.
Listen to the cracker shit.
What? Dead good.
You see what I'm saying, DJ? You see how you DJ in your blood. What happened? You run out of song, DJ?
Your turn. I'll give it to the opposition to run a tune. You get me? So like
All right.
I'm Kilimanjaro. I'm Kilimanjaro. You're Mighty Crowd. You get me?
Mighty Crown War. Mighty Crown War. Listen, Mighty Crown War.
Mighty Crowd ain't shit, man. I can't stand them Chinese, man.
I can't stand them.
Kilimanjaro.
I can't listen, and they be yelling on the mic just like like there was brothers. I can't, bro. Oh my god.
I can't work with them. I can't work with them, man. But yeah, sucks. That's what. You got no dub now.
What do you mean if I ain't got no dub? What are you talking about? Let me know when you're ready now.
I'm suck. I don't
Listen,
understand.
We bust that. You see, you're going for backup. You're going from a nigga there. You have some shabakata. What's going on now? Parasha come in there like, you know me and you good, but this blood thicker than water. What the fuck is that, Parasha?
It's like when the witness. You see when people dead, nobody won't believe it. So when the witness,
listen. Let me tell you something. When my gun back, everybody dead. We don't leave no witnesses. Yeah, I mean, don't leave no. My gun is a legend. They tell urban legends about mine. You know what I'm
saying? My gun back.
Listen. Since you went old school, yeah, I mean, my create deep.
Okay. I see what kind of caliber this battle is. Okay, I see what going.
Pull up. You ain't ready.
Okay. Oh, that hit me on the belt. Okay.
Hold on. I'll do. Boom! I'm gonna stop there because I might leave Birmingham underwater right now. I might, it might be blood everywhere. You know what I mean? I need to leave some men to go to camp. Yeah, I mean, I'll sacrifice Eucharath here, but the rest of the men, I'm gonna leave them to go to camp.
It's lucky, so I'm bulletproof, you know. I'm 100% one West Teflon bulletproof. Come on, I was raised by good men. I'm bulletproof. See the men in the U.P.K, UK, we can't then.
Listen,
it's not we won't then. We can't then.
Listen. Hurry up. You listen. You talk too much. You're talking too much, my youth. Play your song. Don't come to fight and talk. Shoot.
Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? You're lucky I got some internet. You're lucky.
You see?
Most people.
You ready? I'm going there right now. We're going there right now. Boom. A bounty killer will say kaboom.
Hey, boy, DJ, you're sticking, man.
Trying to sabotage my thing, you get me?
You're sticking, DJ.
Murderation!
You ready now? You ready?
We don't like with the murderation. Every time people have left there and I'm bunch to get up on the front line of KG and say, yeah, I got your spy that feed or you cop a shot in them all. I remember keep on saying, and you a spy your feed with no explanation. You ask me why it's like in fact I murder left him one whole time. Must be calling you with no shot multiply. I got your informer and we no bonify. I can tell you tell him what world
all right.
You kill private, kill hands and fly.
I hear you.
Wicked man now but we don't on high book. We shoot the bulls and you say I got your
Tazawa Pan, give me a one or a cut. This is Tazawa Pan's anthem right here, you know. Tazawa Pan's like bounty killer fan. This is. I asked Tazawa Pan, what is your number one bounty killer tune? He said, "Yo, a spy for that." I said, "Yo, I agree with you. I
see. Listen. I see. I have an entire rebellious house, and I have to manners all. What you say before you was bulletproof?
It's like a bounty killer said, I got bulletproof skin, bulletproof face, forehead, and chin. You get me? All over.
11. It was that little devil.
Well, we'll see. We gonna see.
Walk to the bisexual. Kingfish.
Listen, you should have known never to say nothing about no bulletproof.
Bulletproof. All the way. Bulletproof skin. Fire that shit.
We need boom back. Them like two beers. When they got this dead fish and cooking, you must see a bumper clad bulletproof skin. And a bulletproof face, you want bulletproof skin. Bulletproof face, make bullet that chin. Me want to me not only things that I might.
Easy bounty. Everything had to do with the truth. Everything had to do with the truth.
So like you say, you know the problem is? The problem is this: you're playing Rodney Price, I'm playing Bounty Killer. See the difference right there? You're playing Rodney Price, I'm playing. Let's get into the topic, man. Because you're playing Rodney Price, you get me? I'm playing Bounty Killer. That's the difference, man. That's the big difference, you get me? You're playing the man that went to church, beat the woman up, you know, he's feeling bad about himself. I'm playing the killer right now. You know? That's the issue.
All right, let me hear you. I listen.
We're gonna get into the second half of the radio show. I'm gonna play a video real quick. Then we get into it. Just one moment.
The clash done. You see? All right, Movado. All right, Movado. The clash done, Movado. You see how Movado? Hold on. Let me just finish it off the right way. Let me finish it off the right way. All right, Movado. He just leave the whole clash and going off the stage. And you know what I mean? Nah, Movado. Listen, all right, Baba boy. All right, Baba.
I'm a Movado fan. Get me. Dunga Bar's Gaza, you get me?
Well, listen, I see you run off the stage.
No. Oh, you go there.
Don't run.
I see you running. You're running and you're gone.
That, man. You know what? You win already.
I didn't know the clash. Listen, I didn't know the clash done. You just had to read stories. Well, listen.
I ain't ready. Michael Pies said, don't run.
Listen, I'm the last man standing. Hold on.
I be a big party cause I'm unbring. Being a coward like Bounty and him. Like on for you to watch the damn flame. It's a hype, I'm a boy embarrassing fans. Me can't believe him run with him pants. Him sing one tune 2 times. When people go out with a million.
Listen, I can't believe you embarrass your fans like that. I can't believe that.
Me and Movado got something in common, you get me? We just know when something done. You see when something done, just know it's done. We're gonna fight the same battle over and over again. You see when women
so shot fighting like madam. You just up in a police route far. Me never seen a policeman go war. Me run out in a full camouflage knapsack full of clip to blood clot SLR. You bring 2,000 mango sting.
Listen, and it's the truth. Look how much all in the room there for me. You bring 2,000 man for the clash, and it's just me. It's just me. It's just me and my bling. It's just me and my bling. It's just me and my bling alone. And you're running. That means listen, let the record show that Karate ran from the first ever public clash. We had a clash already in 2016 on the way to Leicester. But the first public clash, Karate ran from the clash.
So like I said, it was in Leicester. And if I remember correctly, I was on fire, man. I was dropping dubs.
Because I was lighting you up. That's why he was on fire.
I was beating the captain, and I got a bit scared of the hellfire of the council.
Oh Lord!
You know what? I thought, you know what? Let me just, you know what I mean? Something got take low. So I thought, you know what?
Excuses.
So like you said, quick question. Yeah, so all right, quick question. Let me get it. Who you think boss more people? Cartel or Bounty?
Bounty.
But keep in mind, Cartel boss man like Black Rhino, Popcorn, Da Vinci, like Bounty boss man in his day. But the people that
I ain't gonna that ain't gonna work. That
no, go ahead.
Hold on. Popcorn is Bounty grandson.
No,
Popcorn.
Cartel's homework. Cartel studied that. Cartel boss Popcorn.
And who boss Cartel?
Bounty Killer.
All right then. That he's the general.
We get
That's
that. But see, Bounty boss Movado, Killer, I don't. That's true. But
no, it don't stop there. Baby Sham, Elephant Man, what's the name? Scare Them Crew. Them two twin girl who he does be having. Bounty boss. Okay, this whole new generation come out of Bounty. And really, if you want to go there, shit, Beanie Man owe part of his career to Bounty. Real talk. He owe part of his career. He owe part of his career to Bounty. That time they was warring with each other. Bounty was extremely relevant, and it made Beanie Man more relevant. Now, I'm not saying Beanie Man is a shit act or nothing. He has his talent, but it helped. But Bounty, he really put food in people's belly. He really, he gave men careers straight up and down. Cartel too. I'm not going to take it away from him. But shit, if you want to talk about who's the grandfather, hey, yo, hello.
All right. Big man thing here. So like I said, who is the king of dancehall? Come on. In 2020, you got to say Cartel. Imagine Cartel behind the bars, sir.
Yeah, Cartel is he's the undisputed. He is the undisputed. I'll never, ever take that away from him. And I'm going to tell you, listen, people who know me I always would call who was the better artist coming up. Always. I always had an A for if a man coming up, I was like, yeah, this nigga going places. From the days of Sean Paul and Vegas, I was always saying Sean Paul, he gonna shoot. Because he's better. He's just a better artist. But even though he's a damn filthy heathen, at that time, he was just that better artist. From the first time I heard Cartel, I was like, man, this dude here, he light years ahead of people. I'm talking about No Dirty Panty days. No Dirty Panty. You remember them days? Yeah. From them days, he was.
The first time I heard Cartel, the first time I heard Cartel was Tech Body Girl. You take me easy. That's the first time I heard Cartel. Right. I didn't think nothing of him. I thought, okay, all right, And he went further and further. I watched Cartel get black, light skin, hair. You know what I mean? Cartel got like a Michael Jackson kind of career. You got dark skin Michael Jackson, cool complexion Michael Jackson, and then red skin Michael Jackson. Cartel got the same kind of, I watched all Cartel's progress, man. And Cartel is the shit, man. So luck here.
Yeah, Cartel
even though my loyalty goes to Movado and the Alliance, reason being, them man got more morals. See, Cartel will bleach and, sleep with freaks and them thing there. Whereas Movado would give allegiance to God the same way.
Okay, I wouldn't go that deep with it because I don't know two of them personally. I don't know what the hell Movado be doing. To tell you the truth, I don't know this. He could be anyway. He could be anyway. He could be left and right, AM and FM. I don't know, but I get what you're saying though. Like Movado and Bounty more traditional. That's what I would say. I wouldn't say they're moral because Bounty beat a woman in she face with a fucking hammer. What morally sound about that? Yeah, imagine that was your sister or your mother or your friend. You get what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say moral, but their presentation, their approach is way more traditional than what Cartel present. But at the same time, imagine this man breaking all traditional standards and still running all over everybody. Even Buju, I don't know if you saw the interview with Buju on the stage with Winford. They asked Buju what he think about the state of dancehall, and Buju said dancehall stagnant. It ain't grow. And, Winford say, how you mean it ain't grow? You have, popcorn outside the alkaline. And he say, yeah, it just, people was flying to America and touring before. Bounty tour, he toured, Elephant Man. Everybody was going on tour. He said, when he got locked up, Cartel was the number one. He come out of jail 10 years later, and Cartel still the number one in jail. Oh, that's right. He said dancehall ain't grow. You understand? That's so yeah, it's a fact. So Cartel, he's the boss. I ain't gonna take that away from him. But if you want to talk about a general, what Bounty did for men at that time, it hasn't been repeated yet. It hasn't been. True. How much? If you look at how much men Cartel bring out, you know what I mean? How much men?
A handful. Da Vinci. Who else? Black Rhino. And these men ain't really boss
Okay,
like that. They kind of flap.
but if I'm not mistaken, Da Vinci and Black Rhino was under alliance.
At one point,
they left with Cartel. Remember, alliance was Cartel, Black Rhino, Da Vinci, Idonia. All of them was under alliance. You remember, like Bounty, he's the first one to form that type of, group. You know what I mean? And then some of them left with Cartel. So, and even after they left with Cartel, who survived? Popcorn and Idonia. Them is the two men who really survived. Black Rhino had a run, but you know what I mean?
Kind of died out.
Yeah,
but
kind of died out.
Tazal Pan from the north said Karaf is on point. We know. He said, you know what I mean? Carter got no morals, real talk, bleaching cream. Come on, sir, man. Come on, man. This brother,
listen,
Carter got no morals, man. Like, that's kind of.
Listen, show me in the Bible where it's a sin to bleach your skin, and show me if beating your wife in she head with a hammer, if that's morally right. God damn, shit, God damn. Listen, I hear what you're saying. It's a traditional, it's a modern versus traditional argument. It's like, okay, alkaline. I already know Tazapo, I'm gonna say he don't like alkaline. I already know it. Let me. What's the general consensus about alkaline? Y'all leave your comment in the chat, please. Put your comment in the chat. You know what I mean? Like your alkaline. Give me an alkaline song we could play.
Oh, fuck. Alkaline's hard as shit. Give me an alkaline song. Give me an alkaline tune. City. Come on, say the city, man.
Hold on. I'm gonna give you a better one. I'm gonna give you a better one that he don't really get his props for. Right? I'm gonna give you a better one. Hold on. He really don't get his props for, because of course he come out in an era where you had to be lit and hype. You had to be lit and hype all the time for something. But City is a good one. But just for the sake of the argument I want to make.
Never know all time until we see me granny cut the toothpaste you. What we ever do? We want to know what we ever do. Spend a bag of money on school fee. What a thing if the picnic no pass. What we ever do? Not nice. What we ever do? We suffering every day. Cause life so messed up, me brother. What we ever do? Get down you. What we ever do? We work hard all week and the money when we make up, we send we back our work. Where we are gonna do? Society where we are gonna do? Well, I know, no for we there, so I suffer long time. But we never give up, yeah, we never stop trying. And we living in a very last time. Dark and young, dark and blind, and leave blind. I don't say that system.
A man said alkaline's cold.
Say again?
A man said alkaline's cold.
You see what I'm saying? Listen, I'm trying to tell you. Let's stop fighting down the youth, man. You watch a little black eye, a little tattoo when you're fighting down the youth. Like, okay, this is the problem I be having with the older generation versus the younger generation. Now is their damn time. Now is their time. If you didn't want alkaline, popcorn, Tommy Lee is another one. Tommy Lee bring rock and roll into dancehall. Right or wrong? Tommy Lee bring that whole gothic thing and D-man.
Tommy Lee dog, you know.
Listen.
I fuck with Tommy Lee.
Listen, Tommy Lee was my nigga, yo. I mean, people hate to Tommy Lee, but listen, Tommy Lee disrespect Bounty so bad.
What you call it? Oh, no. The lucky, sir. Bounty killer called Tommy Lee, Nyami Lee. Hey, come on, sir.
Listen,
that's the insult. You can't get back to Nyami Lee. I said, what?
That's true. But listen, Tommy Lee called him goat head. He say he gonna make a soup with it.
You know, it's like, you know what it is. You see in Jamaica, they got goat head soup. It's called managed water soup. You get me?
Yeah, I know the managed water.
Nyami, but Nyami.
Somebody tell Nyami. Listen, it's the classic old generation versus the young. It was Ninja Man versus Vibes Cartel. You understand? Like they always do that. They always do that to us as a people. But you never see Rolling Stones in a rock and roll beef with 9 Inch Nails. You might know who that even is. You know what I mean? You would never see Aerosmith or Aero Speedwagon in a rock and roll beef with Smashing Pumpkins. You understand what I'm saying?
It's us black people. See, black people, we're very competitive. Like, even with Judah, it's got the rap battles. Even before that, breakdancing battles. Like, that's how you know that the Benjamites and Judah, you know, and all touch the same people. We see things like, okay, you're bad. I know I'm bad. Let's use the baddest, man.
Okay, but I hear you. Okay, I hear you with that. We competitive, but where's the competition when it comes to crushing Eminem?
It's like, I don't know.
Where's the competition? Listen, I watch a clash just before we come on the air, right? I was listening to some music, and I watched a clash between Ninja Man and SHALAM. And of course, Ninja Man washing him, right? Ninja Man washing.
I love that battle, man.
Yeah.
And it's like the fling back.
When they fling the ball, Ninja Man, I'm on SHALAM.
Like, yo, if I next pussy fling a back, I'm
you're in the face, right?
Yeah, no. I saw just stop in the sky and just drop like. I saw Buck go, drop down.
Listen, I watched the clash, right? And okay, Ninja Man, he have a way he does clash where he come and he talk to you, you know, because it's entertainment, it's not violent. But then SUPK started real dissing, man. He says, you know, Ninja Man talking, and he's like, yo, sing your song, sing your song. He's like, pussy, sing your song. And I'm watching there, and I'm like, if a black man did that to Ninja Man, it would be a fight.
Definitely.
It would be a fight. And you allow this heathen to do it. Like, we competitive with each other. Cartel hit Ninja Man and hammer in the face on stage. How come nobody never Popcorn kick Black Rhino off a stage in what was the name of that thing? Sting.
Sting, sir.
How come nobody ever never kick, you know, one of them, you know, Collie Buds off a stage? You remember Collie Buds with finally come around. How nobody ever waste me a bottle? Where the bottle for Sean Paul? Where the bottle for SUPK? We competitive against each other. We disrespect each other. But when it comes to them, it's up. Listen, hold on. You know, I take my music kind of seriously, semi-seriously, almost as serious as the truth.
You know what? It's too.
No. Hold on. I it's not a song. I wanna play. I don't know if you remember when Rodigan had clash with Kilimanjaro.
Okay, if I may, quickly. When I was in the world, growing up Christian, I was a little boy like 6, 7. My dad used to play Kilimanjaro versus Rodigan. And Rodigan Kilimanjaro was disrespectful shit. You know, get all the people Rodigan's face taunting. And I was so Christian, I feel sorry for him. I'm like, oh, come on, man. You can't do the poor white guy like that. He's not ready for this. It's too raw for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
White people after you can't do him like. And my mum as well, be like, oh, come on, man, it's a bit cold, man. You can't do him like that. Kilimanjaro used to wash Rodigan up, man.
Man, listen, I'm looking for the clash now where Kilimanjaro make Rodigan cry. He make him cry on the stage where Rodigan come on the stage and say, yo, you listen, I didn't come here for all this racist thing. I just want people to love my music. And his voice started to crackle because Kilimanjaro was playing songs where they was talking about you're soft white boy, you're, you know, son of this, you know what I mean? Like there was... Go ahead.
If I may, I believe Cartel's a bit of a racist, you know, because Kilimanjaro used to always hit Cartel dubs, and Cartel used to always get on Kilimanjaro about your white boy this, you know what I mean, how you take black people for idiot and shit. I'm dead serious, like, and Rodigan would damn near cry, man, be upset and everything, like, oh, you know, and then the dubs he'll come back with they were shit, man. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna look for it, Doc. I'm gonna look for it. I found it and I saved it somewhere and I can't remember, brother. But Rodigan stopped the whole thing to talk to the crowd and ask them to, you know, let's all live together in a real, you know, United Nations unity speech. Like, you know, like there was some hungry African on stage with rice or something. Like, you know, we all supposed to feel sorry for him. I'm like, you know, you know, when it comes to the heathen, we all we all passive with it. But for each other, yeah, we got all that energy. You know what I mean? We definitely got all that energy.
Yeah,
So,
I remember
man.
Supercat said to Ninja Man, yo, boss man going in your face. And Ninja Man, he say shit. I got a video on YouTube with Ninja Man. We're gonna stab somebody because they were dissing him, man, and ever had to hold him back. You know what I mean? So it's one of them ones.
Yeah, that's how it be. That's how it be, man. You know what I mean? But listen, I even with hip hop, the brothers will tell you, I try not to hate the youth side of it, the new age thing. You know what I mean? It's easy to get stuck in the tradition, but you know, like, okay, you're hearing me? Yeah, like, okay, it's easy to get stuck in the tradition, but remember, at the time when, you know, reggae or early dancehall came out, the dancehall was viewed negatively. You understand? The dancehall was viewed negatively. It was viewed as a violent thing compared to reggae. It was viewed like you're mashing up dancehall. Remember Anthony B song, One Back with Water?
Kind of one concert. I believe before reggae and that, it was ska.
It was ska. Oh, ska. Yeah. Hold on, man.
I'm a Brummie. I'm a Brummie. You gotta forgive me.
What do you mean? What I mean?
You said ska. I say ska. I'm a Brummie. Slacker.
Forgive me. Ska. All right. Take your ska. All right.
Side note, can you tell the difference between Brummie accent and London accent just yet?
In a way, it depends. I think I know it when when a London person get angry, I could tell. Because London people say yeah a lot. Like they angry. They'll be like, you see, and he do this, yeah, and so, yeah, and yeah. Like I'll be, yeah, that's fucking London right there. Brum is a little bit different.
See, Brummie, yeah, will say but London will say So Brummie will say, yo, I broke the glass. A London will say, I broke the glass. A Brummie will say castle. A London will say castle. You get me? A Brummie will say water. A London will say water. That's you know what I mean? A Brummie will say, give me what a Brummie will say. Oh, I hate ya. A London will go, oh, I hate ya. It's more smooth. Brummie is direct, sharp. It's ugly as fuck. It's ugly. Apparently, they say Brummie is one of the worst accents in the UK. But this is how it is, man. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I favor all of UK, brother. I ain't partial. I favor all UK. I ain't partial. I love all zones, north, south, east, west. You know what I mean? The Midland, the West Midlands. You know, Smethwick, wherever. You know, we there. You know what I mean? You know, I favor it to death. You know what I mean? But for sure, you know what I mean? There is a difference, but. Okay, my ears ain't too. I hear it when it's an argument or if it's like a heightened speech. If it's a regular conversation, it had to be extreme, like Liverpool, Manny accents. I could tell the difference. To me, it reminds me of like Irish or Scottish. To me,
Liverpool,
you know what I mean?
Liverpoolians got like a. You see in Hebrew, like the car. Liverpool say shit like, oh, what the fuck? Nah.
And to me, they ain't got. To me, nobody got bass in the voice up there. Everybody kind of nasal, like like, everybody is like, well, goddamn.
Even London voice is still high pitch. If you get me, even what we consider deep is still high pitch. No one really deep like that. No one got a deep voice. Everyone's like, nah, man. What you saying, man? That's light. It's no one's really deep.
That might be the British way, you know, not to be too aggressive. You know, the Queen and them, they want everybody talk polite. You know, you remember the white woman that came up there when we was up there and saying, you know, you're so aggressive and people would listen to you if you would talk nicer. I wanted to slap that bitch so bad. So like, I wanted to fully spank the white off of her so bad because, you know, that's what they do. They try to talk so normal and act like they're so goddamn civilized. Meanwhile, they oppress the hell out of us. Right? You know what I mean? They do some shit to us. Go ahead.
Them saying white people sing the national anthem, look all nice and prim and proper. Then after singing that national anthem, go kick the teeth out. of a France football team member, man. They sing national anthem, feeling up prim and proper, and then go and riot, man, and go beat up some Spain supporter or some Liverpool supporter, man. So, they do one thing, but
they the snake, they the snake. And I think NTO was telling me about some story with that, with the pubs opening back.
Call one, sir.
Yeah, pull that for me quicker, because okay, them pubs opening back mean the hooligans gonna be out.
Newspaper, please.
Yeah, I mean, it gonna mean the hooligans gonna be out. You remember this one, girls? Yeah, I know for sure you're gonna know about it.
It's all about the memories of the dancehall days. We need back those good days, man. Come up, boys, and dance and the But now listen, I'm gonna dance all now. Anthony Davis said that way. Come back, we water bumpy, we cool and deadly. We go dance, we be
Up. Hey, listen, this playing a dance, all the Rasta playing up all the fire, men love gunshot. Pop, pop, pop. Listen, all the gallus in the corner like this. When you look in the corner, there's all you see. You only see two hands coming around the back here. So all the gallus in the corner, quick with the woman, you know what I mean? So it's and if you listen, what he was saying, he basically saying, he won back the days when dancehall was nice. Meaning he talking about the violence and stuff, but not just that. He talking about, the music. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the Bounty Killer Beanie era dancehall changed it. You understand? It changed how it was. So now dancehall going through another change again with Cartel. With Cartel breaking away his style is different from Bounty style. And it's more daring, it's more on the edge. And from him, you have who? Tommy Lee on the edge. Your Popcorn come after. No, your Alkaline. It's a more edgy type of thing. So, to say they have no morals, what are you going to say? Bounty had morals with Smoky Herbs, give thanks and praise? That was moral. Smoking Herbs was moral. You know what I mean?
No. As black people, we did our fuck still, but we come to God.
But
we did our fuck, but when it comes to God, yeah, we kind of, like, oh, yo, chill. Carter said, I don't want to know God, and you know what I mean, and bleach and this and
okay, but hold on, wait, hold on. Cartel is the same man who sang this, right? Out of all the artists, I never hear no artist sing anything anywhere close to this ever, brother, ever. You know what I mean? I mean, Bounty, he called himself what? The poor people governor. And, he sing, songs like Look. You know what I mean? He sing songs like Look and, Anytime. And, you know what I mean? You have people who come out and sing about poor people problems. But, if you want to talk about Cartel not being moral.
I can't believe it.
Now, listen, the same man who bleached his skin, he's talking about the Chinese oppressing people in his land that he was a slave in. You ain't hear nothing like this since Burning Spear. So if we want to talk morals, now, come on, we're talking morals, right?
Go ahead.
Country, but a long time, me live here so can't go away. Tell poor people be cool. Tell poor people be cool. Oh, in somebody land, where you get the system you're from? Boy, you was not done poor people land. Don't know seminar, vote again, no sound. The MP don't give a damn. Where you get the system you're from? Don't send me live for Scotland. Joe, we don't rich like Matalan, no sound. They are my Jamaican. And I have nowhere to go. But bad on the crew, you're so in a bigger car. Bigger heads, like you are flying out. You can't buy your own from a cherry garden. Ashes to ashes, condoms to dust. The tribulation in the ghetto is a must. Never qualified in a housing trust. I'm a lose all of my money in a cash box.
Me know say me a born Jamaican. Me dey a from slavery as a African. Somebody tell me where my land come from. Own so much land in our island. Tell me this a dream. Go back to Japan.
Come on, man. He say, Mr. Chin, go back Japan because he ain't make for the black man. Brother, if you want to talk morals, this is the same man who did it. Wait, come on. What are you saying now? You see everybody quiet now.
DJ got a point. DJ got a point. I got a little point.
Everybody quiet now. Everybody quiet. Nobody had nothing to say. You see?
Got a point.
Listen, I'll get into my London accent. You want to talk about morals, yeah? He telling you about the private man, yeah? To go back to China, yeah? You get my point. So that's why I say I don't like the moral argument. Like when people say he had morals, because it's like, you know what it's like? It's like saying, yeah, we smoke weed, but we still praise the Lord. Yeah, you know, it's like putting a meter on righteousness. Like, I'm more righteous than you are. When that's, you know, from our point of view. Now, if you're in the world, that's your argument. But for our point of view, is either you're righteous or you're not. So from our point of view, all of them was immoral. They all was immoral. You get what I'm saying? From, you know, smoke your herbs, give thanks and praise, till today, it's immoral, all of it. But when you look at what they were saying and what they was doing, each one of them had a merit. Each one of them have the merit, like something they contribute that was positive to the culture. You get what I mean? But there's a traditional line. There's a line that's more traditional. It's like if you are accustomed drinking wine and then somebody give you Guinness. You know what I mean? It's two alcoholic drinks, but you're not used to this strong, bitter taste, which is what Cartel and Alkaline and Tommy Lee represent. Is like a stronger, in your face. You know, this is the new generation. That's all it is. It's just the new generation. It's the same thing with mumble rap and hip hop. Like they wasn't saying nothing. Mumble rap, they ain't saying nothing. So, you know, when Luke and them was saying what's the booty song they have? DJ Luke. Oh boy, I forget his song.
I love the Migos, man.
Okay, no, DJ Luke is an older group. Oh boy, I forget the nasty ass song they had. You know the song if you hear it. It's a fully nasty song, brother. DJ Luke, Too Short, all them men who was just nasty as shit. Like
Too Short.
Yeah, you know those guys. Like you mean
them shoes there, them old school shoes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I.S.U.P.K talking about, you know, having sex with the man's daughter and giving her knee pads because she's gonna be on her knees so long, she best wear knee pads. Like, that's the older generation. And then they're gonna come shit on the young generation because what all they're talking about is mollies and sex. Well, shit, the older generation was talking about that too. You know what I mean? So I don't like to get into the moral thing because none of them was more right than the other one. You get what I'm saying?
So like I said, since we're on, you know, morals, I'm gonna play a video about the video in London of a man that was like a pedophile and he got beat up by a man who's also as well. You know what I mean? So again, like, let me get into this real quick. I want to see your views on this.
Is it a video or is it audio?
The video say, can you see it, sir?
Nah, I ain't seeing nothing and I ain't hearing it too well either.
Anyone in lunch? Have you seen anything?
Tawada, Bayaf Kazak, 2 Live Crew. Uncle Luke and the 2 Live Crew. Tawada, brother. Go ahead. I ain't seeing it, man.
You seen it now?
Okay, it seemed like it coming up though. You know what I mean? Seem like it coming up. Since my DJ forget 079-607-46784. If you want to call in on the ends, because my DJ, my sound engineer, forget to call the number 079-607-46784. The longest number in all of numberdom. The longest phone number in the world.
It's lucky. I apologize. I was too busy making a duppy, but we're gonna play this video now.
All right, allow it. All right, now go ahead. Play the video for me quick. So explain to me what's going on here, just for the people who may not know.
So what we saw there is a man was caught masturbating over some girls. So someone caught him. Let me drop 1 second. That screen share 1 minute. Yeah. So a man was masturbating over some girls and got caught. So the man was like, listen, man right here was masturbating over some kids. You know what I mean? Got him in the balcony, punching him up. You're going to stab him, but the cameraman said, don't do it, man. So it's like child molestation is big in our community. I had no idea because, you know, I didn't grow up around that. So I thought no one was child molested until I started to speak to people, join the I.S.U.P.K, and loads of us in the black community, man, have been molested as a child. So it's like if child molesters knew that this was coming their way, people wouldn't child molest no more, man. It's mad how we can enforce rules like no snitching, no child molestation. So we could also introduce laws like what? No drugs, man.
Right.
No black on black crime. And the ghetto will be the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
If everyone saw the beat God, they'll say, shit, I molested nobody on the ends, man. Like black people, like you said earlier, sir, we like to say I'm righteous in this aspect, but I sell drugs. And that's the problem. As black people, we hate child molestators, man. We hate rapists. If anyone ever rapes in our community, they're getting dealt with, man. But we need to be righteous in all aspects, man. And if we enforce the laws the same way this brother enforced the law on a man that was masturbating over children, we'll be in the kingdom of heaven in no time.
That's right. And okay, if I could, I ain't want, you know, not to beat a dead horse or nothing, but that's why I was making the point about I don't like the morally, you know, they morally right or whatever argument, because it's exactly that. Like throughout all the music, even the music back then and the music now, they all knew somebody who was a child molester and somebody who been molested. Some of them been the person who molested. Some of them been the child molester. You get what I'm saying? Just like you remember when Tazariak did that thing on what's the name of the crew?
Africa Mambata and the Zulu Nation.
Mambata and the Zulu Nation. That was a group that was supposed to be empowering black people. And you know what they were saying? They knew about the rapings and the molestation, but the group was morally right. They was putting food on people's table. Remember KRS-One came out and said, we all knew somebody who was a rapist. I'm not gonna judge nobody because I knew the shit. So they know it and they ain't doing shit. You get the point? That's why I can't give no generation that type of credit. I'll give them the credit for what they say in the music, but to look at them as something morally right to actually to aspire to, hell no. You understand what I mean? Hell no. I ain't doing either one. And the child molestation is something that's, you know, is a heinous act in our community. It's a full out abomination. It destroys our nation. And you're absolutely right. If the same way, you know, Benjamin and Levi, we hard on a homosexual. You know, they find a homosexual is tired. Everybody, even Prasha is like, yeah, that's right. The Prasha ain't saying that all night. He's like, that's right. So that's how we are. You know, now imagine we would take that to, the child molester, the drug dealer, the rapist, the whore, the lesbian, everything. We could stop it. And I'm not saying for that's what people should do now, but a time is coming when our King returns, when Christ returns, there will be no 12-step program for a drug dealer or a drug addict. There will be no counseling for Alcoholics Anonymous. You know how you deal with an alcoholic in the Bible?
Oh yeah, you stone him in it? You take him to the elders.
Take him to the elders and you stone him to death. That's how you deal with an alcoholic, not somebody who drinks, but somebody who gets drunk and gets lawless and cannot be controlled. He ought to die. You understand? Now you see that, guess what? You're gonna be like, nah, that's my last drink, I'm good.
Slack. It's still on cam. It's still on camera.
I don't drink with you already. Them 2 little bottles ain't doing nothing. Them 2 little bottles ain't doing nothing to you. I don't drink with you already. Don't worry.
Slack, you got a cough. Do not buy me no more Jack Daniels, okay?
Listen.
Every time I call London, she buy me no more Jack Daniels, okay?
Listen, you gotta go out, ignore that. Get Jack Daniels to Parashia. Don't worry about it. Yeah, man, that's yeah. But you get my point, and what you're saying is heavy. Like, we had to be socially responsible more. Like, really, we need a government. Because from what the brother, was it Ras Nato? Is Nato is his name?
Nito.
Ras Nato, like what he was saying, like we need to have that. We need to close the door on them. But what even him, he didn't really verbalize it. But that stuff comes from a government. Like, you have to have a government over your people. You know what I mean? You have to have one body that everybody trusts to make all the decisions. And if they say left, we go in left. If they say right, we go in right. That's like a father in a house. Imagine you a father and your household is not under you. Your daughter gonna be a whore and your son gonna be a drug addict because they're not following your lead. It's the same thing with a nation. If you don't have somebody running the nation, you anybody comes in there and spoils your house. You dig?
Kind of one, it's true, sir.
Yeah, man.
So we're gonna wrap up in a second, but we're gonna get to one more thing real quick, man. Tom Moore. Everyone know who Tom Moore is? Tom Moore's the devil that walked 50 steps for the NHS and now is knighted, man. Now is Sir Thomas Moore. Can you believe that? Black man worked.
You did?
Black man worked for the NHS, picked cotton and cane, and we don't get no knighthood. A devil in his 90s walks a couple steps and gets knighthood, man. We can't stay in the country. We can't get some respect, man. We get stopped and searched and frisked and sent back to the islands, man. And a devil that walks a couple steps in his 90s, he gets to be called Sir Thomas More, man. And that spit in the face. We come to work for England for pennies. And what do we get? We get to live in the bathroom. They take the bath out and say, yeah, go live in there, man. Give me what £3 was it? Give me £3, man. Meanwhile, white man's paying $150 for a whole house. And meanwhile, Thomas More gets to be called Sir Thomas More, man.
That's crazy.
And your grandparents had to spend £3 to live in a bathroom. And after all that, got deported home. After all that hard work and working in the underground, cutting cane, working for England for pennies, got sent home. Meanwhile, Thomas More got to be called Sir Thomas More because he walked a few steps.
What did he raise the money for?
For the NHS.
What do you mean?
A couple steps. He did a couple steps, raised money, give it to the NHS for the whole coronavirus thing. But guess what? Old black people have been walking many steps since slavery, man. In slavery, the black woman popped out a baby, and then the next day she was working. In slavery, old black woman was cutting cane, picking cotton, working hard, man. The Windrush generation is a nation of old people that's working hard, man. And an old white man gets to walk a few steps, and he deserves to be called Sir Thomas More, man. Meanwhile, black people been working old, and we've been in the cane fields, cotton fields, working old since the 1600s, and we don't get no recollection, man. We didn't get no accolade for it. Meanwhile, Thomas More gets called Sir, man. And that's the country that you want to fight for, the country that you want to fight in the RAF and sing the national anthem and fight for it in their football teams and be a football hooligan for. Us in I.S.U.P.K, sadly, we can't do that, man. We can't do it. You know what I mean? So,
What was the reason? Okay, what was the big deal? He couldn't walk or something?
Nah, sir, it was old. Furthermore, as Dangabar said, the man walked with his Zimmer frame, man. That's cheating. That's half a step. That's like pushing the bench. That's like doing bench presses and a man spotting you, man. Like, I don't. Maybe if you walk without it, then I could give you some respect. But this man, that's half a step, man. You know what I mean? Dangabar said it in the chat, and all of England nearly killed him. They nearly crucified him. They were saying, "Oh, I hope he die. I hope he get coronavirus." Yo, what's wrong with the world, man? So I damn near felt sorry for Officer Dangabar, man. But
now, Dangabar, listen. He's blood warrior. You know what that means? When he goes to fight, he comes out covered in blood. Don't worry about none of that. Don't feel sorry for Dangabar. Feel sorry for them. You get the point? Feel sorry for them. Don't feel sorry for Dangabar at all. Yeah, he perfectly right in everything he's saying. Like, that devil should trip and fall and bust his skull open, man. Like, what the hell he do? He ain't build England. He ain't do nothing. You know what I mean? Like as you say, our people been walking for so long, and there was no GoFundMe for them. There was no GoFundMe for the win rush. How much money does devil raise?
A couple billion still.
20 million or something like that.
20 mil.
How much?
Be a lot more than that, actually. But
yeah, I seen it.
20 million.
Wait, no, 32. 32. Good night, Irene.
32 million. Just from walking on a Zimmer frame.
Look at this damn bastard. He ain't got no wrist. He's so old. His wrist and his whole foot, everything look like one. He's so old. Look at his hand. He ain't got no wrist. This devil's so old, and they knight him 100 laps around his garden before his 100th birthday.
Meanwhile, sir, I got a cousin here, my grandma's cousin, who's just as old as him, and he runs for the boss, man. Why he knighted? This brother runs for the boss. You know what I mean? This brother, is healthy as hell, and why he knighted, man? You know what I mean? Our great grandparents worked in the cane fields, old as hell, swinging that machete, cutting that cane, man. Where's their knighthood?
Connor, if I may,
yeah, go ahead.
That's us that they don't look at a black life as a life,
right?
Because he does one thing, whoop to do. Meanwhile, black people have been doing that, so it can only mean one thing. Our lives don't mean anything, but when he does it, he is somebody. He does matter, and that's what makes it. That's what makes it amazing, because they care about him and not about us.
That's right. That's right. Give it up. That's right. Listen, listen. Go ahead.
One more thing, man. Look at England, yeah. Look up to this old 92-year-old devil like he's a hero, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what, black man? That goes to show that, listen, the I.S.U.P.K, we're the real. If he's a hero to white people, the I.S.U.P.K, we are the heroes of black people, man. We do more than walk 100 laps in our back garden, man. We go all over England, Manchester. Look at the tapes, Manchester, London, Leicester, Nottingham, raising black people, man. We are the real heroes, man. If this devil can be a hero for walking on a Zimmer frame, and black man, the men of the I.S.U.P.K, we are the real heroes, man. We're the men that got camp in New York, DC. Where else we got? Tennessee, Memphis, England, Manchester, London. We are the real heroes. If this devil that does nothing can be a hero, then what are we, man? What are we when we raise black people, get black people off drugs, have a food program, raise our children, man? We are the real heroes of black people, man. Not the Christian church, not Sir Thomas More, man. So like, yeah.
That's right. Listen now, if I could go one further, you brothers and sisters who donated money to this damn filthy bastards, shame on you. If any of that 32 million came from anybody black or Hispanic, shame on you.
That's right.
Like this devil was old enough for the time of lynching. He would have seen a lynching. You get the point? He would have seen an old-fashioned beating. And who knows if he was one of them who was doing it. And you give him money for walking? Shame on you, man. Shame on you. You listen, the U.P.K, you pay your tithes and your donations in here. You in the U.K. and you upset about this, you send your money in here, man. We're going to do something about that. We're going to do something about this entire nation. We're going to go build this nation up, get every brother off of drugs, every sister off them strip poles and all the whorish attitude and mindsets they got. We're going to cure every mental illness and raise up this nation under the Most High Christ, under command and GEN.YAHANNA. And boy, we gonna have what's his name? Sir Moore, Donald Moore,
Sir Thomas Moore.
Thomas Moore. I will make you walk around the plantation. And you like to walk around gardens?
He be Sir Slave Moore.
Listen, Sir Slave Moore, walk this plantation, devil, and we gonna see how much money he raised there. Yeah.
So he's gonna raise a lot of money because he's gonna make us wealthy, man. He's gonna raise more than 32 mil. He's gonna raise more than that. We're gonna make sure we're gonna have him picking and cutting and come on, man.
That's a slap in the face, as they say. Like he get 32 million. Meanwhile, the Windrush people who walked to clean your businesses and sweep your floors and walk to drive your buses and breastfeed your children, we get deported. He get $32 million. That's crazy. That's crazy. As if the NHS needs 32 million. You know what I mean? Okay, England is sitting on, this is the last one I'm going to bring out, I know we over the time. England is sitting on $1.something billion in gold that belong to Venezuela. They're just keeping it. They ain't giving Venezuela back the money. England don't need $32 million worth of nothing. They just wasted how much? $16 million on ventilators?
That ventilators that
right
don't
or wrong?
Work, Color one can.
You all with me?
Color one can hear, sir. On ventilators that don't even work.
Yeah, ventilators that don't even work. Like, come on, man. Like they don't need no more money. That money needs to come to black people. That's a shameful act, man. Any black Hispanic person who you do that there thinking you invested in NHS to save your life, the Lord gonna deal with that, man. That's ridiculous. All right, Karathi. I see you on the ends.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, good show, brother.
Again, another powerful show on the ends. You know what I mean? Me, myself, Officer Karafia, the executioner. We got Captain Parasha here, the Lord's horseman. We got Captain Mashak Mayam, drawn from water. Is that correct? You know I'm a Hebrew scholar, right? I'm joking. You know what I mean? We got
No, Captain Mashak runs everything in sight. Whatever I lay my eyes on, I take and I run, I control, and I dominate it all. That's what it means. Dominate it all. Once I step into the room, everything bow. You get the point?
See, I couldn't say it better myself. Blood warrior. Again, support to heart, mind, body, and soul. I'm gonna put the link on there. Also, contact the school 079-607-46784, 079-607-46784. Contact the school. You know what I mean? Also, classes 394 Lodge Road, Birmingham, B18 5PW. And we have classes Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 to 9. Saturday, 10 to 11. Also, we have camp, but at the moment, the devil got us locked down. We have camp on Brixton High Street and Birmingham City Centre outside Primark. So make sure you're there as well, man. Anything I miss? Also, Black Watch by Commander Johanna, 2 a.m. Make sure you stay awake and watch that, man. If you happen to fall asleep, watch it the next day, man. Type in Black Watch on YouTube and the search engine. And also, we have a food program as well, man. Come get some free food, man. Come with some free food. Give us a donation. Come on, the Bible said don't come, empty-handed. Give us a donation, but if you can't, we'll give you anyway. And pay your tithes, man. 10% of everything you earn, man. If you earn 10 pence, we want that penny, man. And with that, that's on the ends with Captain Mashak Mayam. This week we had Ras Nito. And we say Shalom.
Take me out with mist, man. Yeah? Take me out with my mist, please. Hey, clap it up. Good show, Good show.
Okay, we got it right here.
Slap it, nigga, I'm erratic. Erdington Savage, yeah, you call this modern warfare. When we double tap it, clicking and we clacking, shots burning through his jacket.
Gangster in the evening, gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster all the time.
Yeah, I'm back and I'm attacking. Nah, I ain't capping. Real life rapping, switched it up and got it cracking. Get you vanished from a napping. Bare nerves racking. Ramming, carjacking, call it life, I'm sacking. Yeah, the Cali's in the air now. Got the tracking. 2017 bricks, still brought the packing. Puff, puff, passing, catch you lacking with my cannon. Birmingham assassin, yeah, burning with a passion.
Gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster all the time. Gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster all the time.
You can't walk around the hood that I'm good round. I was down and out, but I'm good now. If you saw my last check, then you would frown. So much drip around my neck, yeah, I could drown. Set the tone like a new phone. Yeah, I'm in a new zone. Just roll the zoo for the route home. Set the tone like a new phone. Yeah, I'm in a new zone. Just roll the zoo for the route home.
Gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster all the time. Gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster in the morning, gangster in the evening, gangster in the morning.